HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sports 1140, KHTK.
Sort of a weird face, kind of unattractive.
Yeah! It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
Come on. Let's wake up.
With Jason Ross.
He is wise.
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh, there we go. Hi. Hey. Hi.
You're in a high chair. Or I'm in a low chair.
No, I think I'm in a little bit of a high chair.
Okay.
It's funny because I had somebody from the station text me, was it Friday? It's like, and they said, do you always switch out and take the low chair? And I said, no, it's actually the opposite. I come in and usually the chair that's in here is lower than I want it to be, which I always find amusing because Nick is shorter than I am. Nick Cattle's in the afternoon. By the way, how have we not had Nick Cattle's on the show since he's been here? That seems weird.
That does.
Right?
Yeah. Let's call him right now.
Yeah. He's not awake. He's prepping.
Yes.
He's prepping.
Nick's probably still licking the wounds from that Celtics loss last night. Let's just be honest.
You know what I like about following him is they're all the same. Just different.
Those people?
Yes. I 100% mean what I say. Read my lips. They are all the same. And by they, I mean Chowds. The chowder heads, dude. And Nick is...
Is that an offensive term?
I think it's clam chowder, right?
Is it the heart of heart?
I understand that.
I think damn it, Jason. I think... So I will say this about Nick, because I have worked with Boston-y people before.
Yes, you have.
And,
that's right.
Oh, I have. And let me say, I had a really good friendship with that person until we did a show together. He was the epitome. I can't say the term on the air, but it starts with mass. He was that guy. And Nick is not that guy. I will be very fair. Like, in fact, I don't think you would know talking to Nick. Just, hey, how you doing? Having a conversation. You would have no idea he was a Boston, he's a Boston fan and all that. And I think he's just kind of from the region. I don't think he's from Boston, is he? Isn't he from?
No, he's a Providence guy.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So New England, right? So, and I certainly don't fault him for that at all. But you can tell it's like always like, they're all against us.
Mm-hmm.
They're all against us. And I guess everybody.
Which is why he fits in Sacramento, because that's every Kings fan.
But in our case,
it's real.
They're all against us. They're really all against us.
Are you guys rooting for the Warriors?
I'm not rooting.
I'm not really rooting.
Yeah.
Okay, rooting's not the right word. Would you prefer an outcome where the Warriors won over?
No, I although I can see some. I mean, speaking for me, there's certainly some things that would be neat if the Warriors won. There's a great story there.
Yeah,
I would, I guess, lean towards the Celtics win just because it's newer. Ime Udoka, great story.
Al
Horford, the
Nick
whole.
Stauskas.
Yeah.
I'm truly rooting for what game one was. Great basketball.
Yes.
Yesterday was okay.
I thought we had a really fun first half back and forth.
Yeah.
And then the second half, and it wasn't as fun.
Like half of the third was early part of the third was okay. Then it just.
Let's play honest. Let's play a game of let's be honest.
We're the media. Why would we do that?
I know. Did anyone else, and again, be honest, God is watching. Did anyone else, when it was like 16-5 Boston, be like, oh God, it's going to be like, oh my God, they're going to sweep both games. Like, they're going back to Boston up 2-0.
No.
Like, I honestly thought that. At 16-5, I was like, okay, they've now outscored the Warriors, 56-21 since that fourth quarter. Ugh. And then, Warriors figured it out.
I think the way I came into the game was like, the Warriors are going to, like, this is going to be 1-1, right?
Sure.
And then when it was early, I went, wow, I'm impressed with what Boston's doing. But I don't think I thought much more than that.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, I wasn't like, they're going to win for sure. But the thought, I'm saying, crept into my head that, oh, gosh, we might have a sweep or a 5-gamer here.
Yeah.
So, What do I have for you, Jason? You are wearing Celtic green. Not really, but
Stingers up.
That's Hornet green.
I know it's Hornet green.
Do you?
Well,
Did you know that?
Let me ask you this.
Did you know there's an actually specific color, like there's Dodger blue, there's Hornet green?
I did not know that.
Yes, and he's wearing it. So no, you didn't know. So stop trying to sound super smart on the radio.
Wow.
On blast.
That's wow. They say COVID doesn't have long-term effects.
Tell you what.
Somebody,
COVID.
So, right. Somebody has an attitude. Hey, by the way, let me, if I may ask, I hope this isn't an HR violation. How are you?
I'm good.
Not like, do you? If I wiped your brain of the fact that you had COVID, would you know that you? That doesn't make sense.
I get what you're saying.
Any effects?
No, I have no long-term effects
no
right now.
taste things or
No, I
always worry
didn't.
about
I didn't get the
that.
taste thing. I've known people that have, and that just sounds awful.
You
Yes.
smell everything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a strong scent to begin with, so
Sorry about that.
it's not your fault.
Let me ask you this, and I'm in no way, shape, or form making fun of or light of people that have had COVID that have taste issues. But have you ever done a deep dive like I have, which I'm sure you probably haven't because you're not weird like me, about how like if you lost your sense of taste due to COVID, that wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really struggle with those issues.
No, my pitch is this, dude. If you lost your sense of taste, your diet could be like perfect. You could eat everything perfect. Oh, chocolate chip cookie,
Or unseasoned chicken breast.
right. It would be all about texture at that point.
But I'm already a texture person.
Okay, so you're not more than taste.
I'm way more texture than taste. Like, it's significantly more.
So if like I served you filet o turd,
Right.
but it was cooked properly.
Yeah, like you deep fry that thing, beer batter it. Yeah, we might, put a little ranch on that bad boy.
I mean, I need taste. That's why, like,
I need taste. It's just texture comes first.
I want to be a fan of salmon.
I love salmon.
Like I love sushi.
Like chicken.
I like sushi salmon and I like lox and bagels. But cooked salmon, oof,
Really? Just got to do it right.
Strong smell to that.
it's just fishy. Exactly. But if you lost your sense of taste, if you lose your sense of taste, do you lose your sense of smell too?
It might be more heightened.
I feel like smell.
I don't know.
Doesn't smell go with taste? Kind
This
of.
is why we do sports radio, not like science.
I'm just saying, losing your sense of taste. If I had to lose here we go. Question of the day. You have to lose one sense. So what are they like? Sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. Isn't there a sixth?
Probably
Yeah,
smell.
there's a sixth sense.
With
I see dead people.
Okay, so none of us want that one.
To me, it would probably be smell. It's the one I could live without the
I
most.
don't want smell. Well, that's the thing. Like fire, is there? Like I want.
The
smell.
thing is, if like you can't smell, you need to make sure that your significant other can.
Right.
Or you could go out into the
Exactly.
public and it could be all bad.
Whoever smelt it.
dealt it.
Not true all the time.
I think. Fact. I think it might be. It's obvious. Okay, obviously not sight, not hearing.
You're completely looking at taste for healthy reasons, aren't
I
you? Like
am.
you really want to
I
try
am.
this theory.
I kind of do. Like if you could turn. Don't get me wrong. I would miss tasting rad things, but
So you think you would eat better?
100%, 100%, 100 billion trillion %. My whole diet would be nothing but healthy food because I can't taste it, and I'm not missing anything. I don't have a
Yeah,
sweet-
but your mind would know that, hey, that's a good Oreo cookie.
Listen, I can't account for the fact that I probably have sugar cravings embedded in that left hip checks me into a taste thing, like left brain. Like I'm sure like when I'm like, oh, I want a cookie, part of that's like a blood sugar thing and all that. But I'm just saying, if it wasn't for taste, yeah. Oh, what are you having for breakfast? Salad. What are you having for lunch? Salmon. What are you having for dinner? Boiled chicken. Broccoli.
Unseasoned.
No
Health Michael Day.
Right. No salt. No pepper.
Literally nothing.
Nothing.
Would you have the other things
Like ice cream?
that you leave
For what?
periodically to go downstairs?
Oh, cigarettes?
That's not a taste thing, though, is it?
I mean,
I don't know, that's what I'm
no, because
Isn't that more of a reactionary?
cigarettes they taste disgusting.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a taste thing.
Disgusting. Yeah, no. it's
God,
not.
you might actually do it more.
No, cigarettes are. People should be more open about this. It's a full-on drug. I'm a drug addict.
Yeah, nicotine's a drug.
It's a really powerful
legal drug.
Like I am a drug addict. Like you have coke addicts and you have alcoholics, and like I'm a drug addict. Like I spend $10.50 for 20 cigarettes that will and are slowly killing me. And I voluntarily do this, and I smell
That's
like
a daily expenditure?
and I walk around smelling like a campfire with teeth that look
You
like
pay that
caramel
much
corn,
in
and I
this
do it.
economy.
Yeah, right. And you do it involuntarily. Like, that is a drug addiction. I mean, I have pretty strong feelings about how, what was it, 5 years ago maybe cigarettes were like $5-6 bucks a pack. Now they're 10. And I do feel like, listen, the idea behind that is raise the prices, people will smoke less. Well,
I doubt that.
I would say this.
Still plenty of cars on the road, and we got gas prices $7 a pop now.
Smoking is terrible. Secondhand smoke is even worse because at least, when you're smoking yourself, you're just killing yourself. I don't know of anybody that smoked a pack of cigarettes and crashed into a family of 4, but I don't see booze prices going up by a factor of 4 over a few years. I do think there's a big time advantage take of drug addiction, which we just don't normalize cigarettes as a drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like that's gone a little bit too far, and there's other ways you could keep people from smoking, or try to at least. Like, you're really taking advantage of. Now, honestly, you're taking advantage of poor people. A lot of people who have a higher percentage that smoke. Now that it's costing them more money. It's easy for somebody to say, "Well, stop smoking." Okay, well, stop being a drug addict. Stop being an alcoholic. Yeah, boom. Lastly, Jason, not happy with you, and you don't even probably know why.
No.
Can you think of anything over the weekend that I would be upset with you about?
Upset with me? No.
Maybe in sports.
Nope. Yes.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for that.
You're welcome.
UCLA eliminates Florida State from College World Series contention.
Yeah, that was all over the headlines.
You know it was, and we're going to talk about that throughout the day.
Full breakdown.
Yeah,
Pitch
does
by pitch.
UCLA have a chance to win the whole thing in Omaha, and does Florida State have to stop right here and rebuild?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do kind of rebuild. It's college. We got a lot to get to.
They're going to fold.
We'll take a break leading off.
Contraction in the ACC.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Let's do it.
It's time for Leading Off. Brought to you by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, where for over 60 years, their name means a great deal in Elk Grove Auto Mall and online at elkgrovedodge.com. Here's cut number 1.
The Warriors, against this very good Boston team, took them away in the second and third quarters with great defense. And we go to Boston all tied at 1. And if we get 5 more games of this, this series, I think, has a real chance to be a classic.
Well, not if they're all like last night. That was, boy, Boston took poo-poo.
Yeah, they did.
That was, I mean, is that now we have this, there's this thought here, like, was that a fluke? Or really, Jason, wouldn't conventional thinking tell you, the Warriors have really pretty much beaten up Boston, everything except for one quarter. Like, they're up 2-0 if it isn't for one fourth quarter. Like,
Yeah.
Got them by 19 yesterday. They were up, 15 going into the fourth, 14 going into the fourth?
Yeah. I mean, that one, game 1, I felt was way more even, though. I mean, that was really the Warriors had a great third quarter.
Yes.
To get that separation, because it was, weren't the Celtics up 2 at half in the game 1?
Yes,
Or it was both games have been 2 at the half. So, to me right now, this series and a lot of the playoffs are who's the more desperate? The Warriors had to win yesterday.
Yep.
Boston, I think, wanted to. There's a difference in like want to or, hey, we need to win. And I don't think Boston played with that same kind of approach. And the Warriors did, and they were the better team yesterday. And now it's the Boston Celtics thinking about, okay, what do we have to do? Where were our role players? Like all the next level adjustments.
Klay Thompson and Steph Curry were a combined 13 of 40, and Jason Tatum had 28 points. If you would have told me that Jason Tatum had 28 points and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson had combined for again, 13 of 40, I would have said, wow, 2-0 Celtics. On top of that, Draymond Green had 9 points. Not that he's an offensive guy. Also, shouts to Nick Stauskas. 3 points, 3 boards, and an assist. No turnovers in 4 minutes. Let's see. Here's the thing. You know how they like to do per 36? 27 points, 27 rebounds, 9 assists, no turnovers per 36, Nick Stauskas.
That's just bad coaching by Udoka. Not playing him enough.
I think, honestly, the presence of Vivek there to cheer on Nick Stauskas, that's what did it.
Well, this proof that Nick rocks.
Nick did, in fact, rock.
You think it was like Vivek was there, like the cheering motivated Nick to go perform in front of his old boss? Like, hey, he's here to see me, love that guy. Or was it like, dude, you traded me after year 1?
No.
And you told me I rocked?
It wasn't Vivek's fault. He had nothing to do with it.
Did he? He signed off on the deal.
I think maybe what's the word? Like he didn't want to do it, but he did it anyways. But not lacklusterly. But I can't think of the vocabulary. Yeah, I know. Or it was
you could just say I'm right.
Maybe Nick was showing out for his future boss.
G League legend, Nick Stauskas.
G League assistant general manager.
Oh,
there
yeah,
too.
you're
Scouting
right.
away. We kick because we care. Number 2.
Cut number 2.
Obviously, you know, the result speaks for itself, but just been a pleasure coaching this group. And like I said, I'm proud of the way we battled and competed and put ourselves in a position to win the game. It just didn't turn out the way we wanted.
Quinn Snyder gone.
Yum.
Oh, wow, okay. Quinn Snyder has stepped down as Jazz head coach.
I guess they couldn't get those contracts worked out.
Sounds like Utah wanted him to come back.
Yep.
And he didn't. Did I read right, by the way, that the owner, I want to say that the owner of the team, Ryan What's-His-Face, the new owner, Danny Ainge and Quinn Snyder are going to do a press conference today? I'm almost positive
I don't know.
So I remember thinking,
That's interesting.
yeah, like I don't remember a coach post-resignation doing a presser. And I swear I read that.
Well, that's what makes me think that it's definitely a mutual decision amongst everyone. Like there's no bridges burned here. I wouldn't be shocked even if like they announce he's a special advisor to the organization.
There's a lot to get to here. First off, the fact that he stepped down now as opposed to right after the season, I don't think that's a coincidence. Does that mean? Hold on, don't touch anything.
Legendary.
Sorry, that was an ad. Because I don't think he wanted to go anywhere. You know, he doesn't. If he's not going to do the Jazz, he's going to do a year off,
Right. And pick his job.
And then coming up a little bit later, I think we should talk a little bit. I kind of believe the rumors that he's going to San Antonio. I find that incredibly credible sounding that he would be Greg Popovich's heir apparent. And now, on top of that, it kind of makes you wonder. I doubt it, but it does make you wonder, is Danny Ainge gonna talk to his old team about their general manager coming over and coaching again? Brad Stevens in Utah. See how Brad Stevens felt about being in the front office for a couple years? And although I think that's Terry Stotts' job to lose. That's what I think in Utah. Anyways, Donovan Mitchell's uncomfortable. Shocking. More to come with Utah.
Yeah, it wasn't ultimately surprising. It's just maybe the timing a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Coming up later, at some point, Jay is going to submarine the show by bringing up a thought process trade proposal for Donovan Mitchell. That I'm going
to do that.
Yeah, you said you were.
I got volunteered. I just said maybe we should have a conversation.
Yeah, I know. Well, you have the conversation because every time I have the conversation, I get killed for it.
Whose fault is that? We're a bulletproof vest.
The public, the populace.
Listen, the King's electorate is very educated, so be careful.
They're loud.
Number 3.
They are very.
They are loud.
Cut number 3.
I don't know how to say in English the thing that we did, but we played with no feeling on the foot. No, we played with an injection on the nerve distance, so the foot was asleep. So that's why I was able to play.
He played with his foot asleep.
Rafael Nadal wins the French Open.
That happened all the time.
14 French Opens.
So dominant on one surface.
Like, that is so insane. Three for Madness. Jay's got a question that I know I've thought about this all morning when it comes to dominance in tennis. Here's the thing. There's 3 guys that are dominant. Nadal,
all right now.
Federer, Djokovic.
Yeah.
Like, you could argue top 3 tennis players of all time.
Yeah, they have the 3 most Grand Slams.
I'm just not like, do they, and it's not like it's a generational thing because tennis skews older, I think.
Right.
Do they bring any of the same emotion to you that Sampras and Agassi, and not just the American guys, the Yvonne Lendls, the Borg, Connor, McEnroe?
Which is not necessarily weird because these are the 3 by wins, by far the best.
By far the best.
I mean, I think they're 22, 20, and 20 as far as Grand Slams. And I was looking it up. I think Pete Sampras is next with 14. So, I mean, they got a big lead on him.
Right.
It's amazing. But I don't think it's translated into anything and not a boom for tennis.
I'd love to see some numbers. I would really like to see some numbers on the popularity of, because maybe we're wrong, by the way. Maybe tennis's ratings are up and the best ever, and I'm sure the purses are higher, but how much of that is inflation? I remember like it being must-see TV to watch the U.S. Open, end of the summer, Wimbledon coming in, and do you feel that? When was the last complete tennis match you watched?
Complete?
Yeah.
It probably wasn't as long ago as you think, but I mean, I'm trying to think. It's probably a Wimbledon, like maybe like a Federer, Nadal, or Federer, Djokovic, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay,
but it's still been a little bit of time.
Hey Jay, what was that? Do you remember the last complete tennis match you watched?
86. I was just sitting on my dad's lap watching it on NBC, I'm sure. Because I can't consciously ever remember doing it.
I mean, we had this talk just a couple weeks ago about Wimbledon and blah, 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 blah. Like, my goodness gracious. But, I mean, America isn't the only country in the world, and it's a big deal to a lot of different countries, and maybe it is here. I don't know, because I don't see it. But congratulations, Rafael Nadal. We'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll talk about the thing that I say nobody likes a little bit more right here on the show. OpenDoor.com is a place you can go to check out and see how all the Open Door services work. I've done it for years, even before we started talking about them on this radio station. It's a great experience. It's a good experience to know when you own a home what you could sell it for. It's good to know that if something comes up, this is what you can sell your house for. It's simple, and hundreds of thousands of people have done it. You go to OpenDoor.com. You answer a handful of questions about your house. In a couple minutes, you're going to have a real offer. Not, hey, this is what the range. Your home is worth between $280,000 and $900,000. No, you get like a legit offer. An offer you can cash in on. An offer you can cash in on where you don't have to do the realtors and the staging and the weirdo strangers in your house. No. It's a competitive, hassle-free sale. Go to opendoor.com/my offer. Get your competitive all-cash offer on your house at opendoor.com/myoffer. Offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC, and its other markets. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we got some highlights, game 2, and where we go from here. Well, Boston, but spoiler alert, where we go from here otherwise next.
Live and local.
Live and local.
Sports 1140 KHTK. The Carmichael Dave Show. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
All right, Aerosmith bringing us back. Welcome back, Dave, Jason. Some of the others would, that's not funny anymore. Tim says a De'Aaron Donovan and DeMontis three-headed monster would be amazing.
It would.
Yeah, it would. How you getting how are you getting Donovan Mitchell without giving up Sabonis or Fox?
He just shows up.
You think Utah, first off, would Utah, who says no? Because this is Tim's idea. 4th pick, Davion, and a first. First off, the league office says no because it doesn't work under the cap. That pesky cap where Davion's making, I don't know, about $20 million less than what he needs for it to work. I mean, honestly, it would have to be like Davion Harrison, 4th pick next year's first.
Maybe even Holmes as well. Just money-wise.
Yeah, no, right. Anyways. Celtics lost yesterday.
Fact.
I'd like to, as we break down this game, I'd like to present you with some audio.
Okay.
From yesterday.
Yeah, this was interesting.
Many of you may recall there was a bit of a, I don't know what you call it, a fracas, a dust-up, an active disagreement. And Draymond Green, who already had a technical foul, was involved. Yeah, it's whatever. It's a double technical. That's it. Nobody should get thrown out. Nothing. Double tech. Steve Javie, who started out as maybe the biggest hothead in the history of NBA referees and then really calmed down and turned into a pretty decent ref throughout his career. I don't know that he ever shook his reputation, but regularly one of the higher graded refs in the league over his tenure. Steve Javie's the ref consultant, the Mike Pereira, if you will, for the finals. And he was talking with Jeff Van Gundy, who's back from COVID, Mark Jackson and Mark Jones, about what the refs were going over. And I want you to take special attention to what he says here.
The two guys are going after each other. Jeff, I think you hit the nail on the head, and Mark, too. Mark Jackson, you hit the nail on the head where you have to consider one player has definitely a technical foul. Is this enough to call a double T and eject the one player?
Wait, what? Hold on. Did Steve Javie just say out loud on the NBA Finals broadcast that the referees have to consider if a player who is now eligible for a technical foul already has a technical foul? That is outrageous, atrocious, something we've known they think about for years, but he just said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Jason, that is ridiculous.
It is, but let's do the counter.
Sure.
Just to, not even in fairness. If they did, and I agree with what actually Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson said when it happened, like in the regular season, that's a Tuesday at Golden 1.
Sure.
Game 14. Just to stop any further thing from going on, they would have done double technical.
Absolutely.
And I think, though, the same consideration would have taken place, like, does Draymond already have one? Now we're in the finals, though.
Yes. Yep.
If they had tossed Draymond for that would have been awful.
I agree with you. Here's my problem.
So, like, what's the letter of the law?
In a vacuum, I agree with you. Was what happened there worth an ejection? 1,000,000,000% no. And if you want to argue that what happened there isn't worth a double technical, that's an argument. That's a debate.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big thing.
At least Brown didn't get one.
But I think, to me, no, what happened there was not worth an ejection. But it probably was worth a double technical, which, along with the earlier technical, warrants an ejection.
Right.
It's not the vacuum there. He already picked up a technical foul earlier, which basically is like him picking up his wallet at this point. He's always carrying a technical foul around. It's incumbent upon him. Now, if he's in the middle of that and he does nothing and you go to the replay and the guy shoves him in the back and Draymond, I don't believe in the double technical for the sake, well, we'll give both sides. No, if one guy doesn't do anything, if one guy's either trying to break it up or is not the aggressor, screw it. Give the other guy one double. I think refs use the double tech way too much as a crutch.
I agree.
But I believe, and I think it's truly the way it should be, you look at every incident in a complete vacuum. And if this incident warrants a technical foul, I don't care if the guy has seven technicals, which wouldn't be possible. But if this warrants a technical foul, then it warrants technical. Oh, and he already has one.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think, saying the quiet part out loud, too, is the end of a game, too. Like, just forget technicals, just officiating.
That's right.
I think it's way more contact, way more physical. They try not to be an impact in the game. They try not to, but...
Right.
Hey, if that was in the first quarter, that would have been a foul. Well, then it's a foul in the fourth.
That's 100% correct.
But that's the way I think the game is officiated, like it or not.
And let's be fully transparent. In those situations, if you're calling the fouls in the fourth the same way you're calling them in the first, you're getting all the snark on social media. Oh, good thing I paid good money to come see the ref show.
Right.
If Draymond Green got tossed right for that yesterday, it would be all, especially if Boston won.
Yes.
Especially if Boston won. It would be like, oh, good thing the ref. I always love it when the refs get involved. That wasn't, I mean, come on. It's supposed to. Dude, I don't honestly. There were many, many times DeMarcus Cousins, a Sacramento King, got tossed. And as a Kings fan, you have to try to be, you really should at least try to be somewhat fair. And you're like, yeah, he deserved getting tossed. And there were times where he didn't. It doesn't matter if you're a Warrior fan or a Celtics fan. I'm a basketball fan. And the leeway that Draymond Green gets, who, by the way, I love as a basketball player. I wish we had him. he gets more leeway than anybody in the NBA. LeBron James is probably a close second, and some would argue even more. But Draymond is he's clapping his hands, he's screaming, he's yelling all the time. I don't mind emotional players. I don't mind. In fact, I love emotional players. I love, I don't want to call it an outburst, but outward displays of emotion and all that. But there's a difference between that and constantly hammering the officials throughout. Had Draymond got tossed, everybody who had been arguing to me about Draymond getting tossed, it's like, why are you blaming the refs? They're enforcing the rules.
Right.
Why don't you blame Draymond Green and tell him he doesn't have to argue every single call, setting himself up for a situation where he got tossed on a double technical?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think the fingerprints of the game were his. Like, he was way more physical,
Yes.
set an incredible
Yes.
tone. One of those early plays where he just ran right through Grant Williams. They called a foul on Williams.
Yes.
And
diving all over the place.
yeah, he was just super aggressive. But it's that would have been interesting had they tossed him there.
Yeah, I think it would have.
And I think he would have had a pretty vocal press conference. They're out to get me. Like,
for sure.
It's a reputation.
For sure.
It's like, well, technically they were calling it by the rules.
Yeah, they called it by the rules, Dre. Also, how did you get that reputation?
Right.
Which, by the way, it wasn't a reputational thing. You got a technical, and then you got into a skirmish.
Yeah. And we never really got a good look at his first one. It was
Right.
him and I think it was Tatum or maybe it was Grant Williams. But then all of a sudden they were kind of showing something else, and they're, technical foul on Draymond. I wish we would have seen a little more
And in
of
those
that.
situations, 98% of the time, someone said something that you
Right.
can't say.
Right.
Here's the rest of that clip.
Personally, I would say nothing, and I would just let it diffuse as that. That's just my opinion.
Well, Steve, my question to you is, as a referee over there in the huddle, are you thinking about the fact that Draymond has one technical already?
Absolutely. I think that's part of good officiating is the fact that you have to know who has the technical fouls. And in this situation, one of the players does. Is this enough to warrant an ejection is what you have to think about.
I really would love to get him on the show. God,
Yeah.
I would. Why do you have to think about if somebody has a technical? No.
And it also makes you wonder, like, I do believe it is thought of. He said the quiet part out loud.
Absolutely.
But don't you also think I'm going to pick Bielitsa?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he tossed?
100% he's tossed.
Well, he's a role player. We got to keep this down.
Yes.
We don't want this to escalate. It'll be Browns first.
Right.
But Bielitsa's
You
got to
can't have selective officiating. You can't have selective officiating. You can't.
Though, again, I don't think either one. I don't think it was but would that have shocked you if they called a double technical?
No.
I thought it was weak.
I
but
have no problems with somebody saying, I don't think that was a double technical. That is a 1,000,000,000% fair.
Yeah. There's guys talking. like the softest of pushes. It was like,
Right.
Okay,
but if you didn't call it because you knew, in other words, if the referees were all in here and I say, if Draymond didn't have the technical, would that have been a double technical? If they say yes, then that's a dereliction of duty to me.
Right.
Then guys,
That's fair.
You did it wrong. It should not matter at any point. By the way, here's another one, which I know Easter Bunny's not real, LOL, spoiler alert here, but superstars should be called the same way that Bielitsa should be called.
Mm-hmm.
A foul is a foul is a foul. Which, by the way, and I say this from a Kings fan's point of view, means if they called fouls like they should be called, Shaquille O'Neal probably would have gone to the line about 50,000 more times. But if they called every single time Shaq was fouled, you'd have had games that lasted 4 hours.
Yeah.
And Shaq would have been, 13 of 84 from the line. I mean, nobody wants to see that. I get it. We'll take a break. Let's round up the weekend, including some Tampa Bay Rays players not feeling Pride Night. Also, we've got a golf update as well. We'll do that next.
Check out the Carmichael Dave Show.
I like this guy.
With Jason Ross on Sports 1140. KHTK.
All right, let's get to the weekend. Because other things happened other than the NBA Finals over the weekend. Start very quickly in the world of golf.
The Memorial,
which has become one of it is a player favorite.
Yeah.
That's Jack Nicklaus's tournament. And, it's not a major, but you start to hear people saying, oh, it's kind of a sixth major, maybe seventh major, $12 million purse.
Woo.
And Billy Horschel. Wait, was that one of Hanukkah Harry's deer? Or it wasn't a deer. Hoisha.
Oh, it might have been.
On Hoisha. Herschel. On Hoisha, on Herschel, on Shlomo. That was a great year, SNL guy. You remember the John Lovitz bit?
Absolutely.
Billy Horschel, 13 under, $2.1 million over Aaron Wise, who finished at 9 under, and really not much. I mean, Billy had a 72 in the final round, but not much of not a lot of drama there. But it's so cool. You come off the course, and he won, and his wife and his, I think it was 3 daughters, rushed the course. Which, God bless him, 3 daughters. Oof. They rushed the green, and I don't know. They all looked like they were 3 to 6, maybe 7 years old, and one of them you can pick up on the mic says, "Daddy, did you win?" And he goes, "Yeah, I won." And she goes, "Oh my gosh!" Just start losing it, right? And what a cool feeling to have your family.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
That was very cool. And then you get the what has become a like at the Arnold Palmer, you get the red jacket or red sweater, I think it is. You get the Jack Nicklaus handshake walking off the course, and that's gotta be. I don't care what kind of golfer you are, how long you've been golfing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes it special. And what are we, 2 weeks away from the U.S. Open now?
2 weeks away from the U.S.
Or next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah, it is next week.
Oh, my goodness. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think, isn't it this week, the LIV tournament? Do they call it LIV or LIV?
I don't know what the pronunciation is there.
They're broadcasting it. I was looking at this. This is the one where some of the players are going to play there, like Dustin Johnson and a couple other names. I think they're broadcasting it like on YouTube or something.
Okay, I wonder because we didn't know where it would be.
Yeah. I want to say that starts this week in London. That will be incredibly interesting. This is a full frontal shot at the PGA
for sure,
and they ain't happy about it.
Yeah,
we'll keep you up to date on that. The Tampa Bay Rays, and let me just say beforehand, because I'm not in the mood. Like, it's just, I wouldn't just go to their corners and chill. Like,
good luck with that.
We're just gonna read the story
here.
Yeah. Number of Tampa Bay Rays players decided not to wear rainbow-colored logos on their uniforms as part of the team's annual Pride Night that recognized the LGBTQ community. Rays manager Kevin Cash addressed it after last night's game, saying he doesn't think it'll negatively impact the clubhouse because discussions among the players over the past few weeks were constructive and emphasized the value of differing perspectives. Quote, first and foremost, I think the organization has done a really good thing. They have Pride Nights supporting our gay community to come out and have a nice night at the ballpark. Impressed that our players have had those conversations. We want to support our players that choose to wear or choose to not wear to the best of our capabilities. Amongst players who elected to remove the logos, Jason Adam, Jalen Beeks, Brooks Raley, Jeffrey Springs, Ryan Thompson. Adam was elected to speak for the group after the game. He said it was a faith-based decision. Quote, ultimately, we all said what we want is them to know that all are welcomed and loved here. But when we put it on our bodies, I think a lot of guys decided it's just a lifestyle that maybe, not that they look down on anybody or think differently. It's just maybe we don't want to encourage it. If we believe in Jesus, who's encouraged us to live a lifestyle that would abstain from that behavior. Of course, that behavior being homosexuality. It's not judgmental. It's not looking down. It's just what we believe, the lifestyle he's encouraged us to live for our good, not to withhold. But again, we love these men and women. We care about them, and we want them to feel safe and welcome here. So And the other interesting thing there, too, or just an aside, is that's happening in Florida.
Yes.
And there's a lot of political going there right now when it comes to the governor there
Sure.
and sports teams.
Yep. And the Rays specifically, too.
Specifically having some funding pulled.
Right.
Because of what the governor thinks is there, and I'm quoting him, woke agenda and all that. He also had some issues with the big fight with Disney World as well. So,
yeah, again, when you say pick your sides, go to your corner, like that's where this can go. I did see, and I don't know, you have to take him for what it's worth, but manager Kevin Cash said, that was their choice, and it really didn't lead to any kind of conflict internally, which is, again, can people have differing views? Sure, but where it can also get dicey is when people dig their heels in and argue, and then it just gets ugly, and hopefully that didn't happen in this case.
I would think so. I think when it comes to the players,
right?
They're like, well, where, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think statistically speaking, everybody on that roster either is currently or has played with a gay teammate. In fact, there was I forget who the Major League Baseball player was. He's retired now. He won a title with the Cardinals, I think in 2006. I forget what his name was. But came out yesterday and was like, yeah, dude, here's the thing. You've played with a gay player before. You're probably playing with them now, likely, and they may not speak up. But what is this saying to them?
Right.
And who knows? Maybe it's not saying anything. Maybe they're like, I don't care. I'm gay. I don't care if you wear the rainbow. Me personally, love rainbows.
Yeah.
Just in general, rainbow, good thing.
Yeah.
You know all the colors in the rainbow?
No.
You never did the thing in school? What is it? Roy G. Biv.
No,
that's that's the name of the rainbow. Is Roy? His name is Roy G. Biv, and that way you know that it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
I was like, what's the V? Okay, violet.
Violet.
Wow.
Well, we can say purple.
There you go.
So there's your rainbow lesson for the day. The A's played in front of some decent crowds over the weekend.
Yes, our guy Pat Still threw out the first. Well, kind of.
Yes.
But had an opportunity to be there for the first pitch the other night.
It's a big honor for him. Very cool thing. They played in front of...
Well, bigger crowds. Let's put it that way.
Bigger crowds. That's the good news.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you didn't know any better, you thought they were playing in Boston.
Yeah.
A lot of Boston fans out there.
Not a surprise. That'll happen when the Giants are there, when the Yankees are there.
Is it starting to get a little... in years past, I think a little of this has been covered up because the A's have been really competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The A's have lost 6 in a row. The A's got outscored 20-4 by the Red Sox during those 3 games, and they go to Atlanta today. It's not the weird thing is not only is it really starting to get oogie, they've never been close. They've never been closer to having a new stadium.
Right.
They're moving along nicely. They had some big wins last week on Howard Terminal at City Council, and they've never been this close. Like, A's fans would hate me doing it, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to jinx anything, and it could fall apart today. But it's a fact. They've never been this close.
Yeah, well, that's why I think we've asked the question. I still legitimately wonder for an A's fan, is it that simple? They get a new park, are they showing up? I don't think it is.
I don't either.
I think that's going to help. I think there's curiosity. I know me personally, I'd love to go see the new stadium. Okay, that's once, that's twice maybe, but is it, we're talking about, 81 home games. I think this is more about how they've been run.
100%. Here's the crazy part is, the attendance is so bad there. The A's have won 20 games. They're 20-36.
Yeah.
They've won 7 home games
That's brutal.
this season. They're 13-13 on the road.
Their road and home splits are insane, dude.
The road record would make them a playoff team.
Yes.
The home record makes them the worst in baseball.
Well, I think you can also just simply, you don't have to look that far at all. New arenas have a very, very, very temporary effect on attendance. For example, Sacramento got a brand new arena for their Sacramento Kings. And last year, they were last in attendance. Toronto was last, and again, we always say this: COVID. They have huge rules.
They were last in the U.S.
They were the bottom American team in the NBA, and you still have a little new arena smell on there, even
a little. But you go back and look at the attendance the first few years of the new arena. The team was still garbage,
right?
But yeah, the place was damn near sold out every night.
100%. So the problem here is that you have with the A's, you have ownership that has shown it will never ever spend. Now the counter to that is, well, yeah, but they've always had a crappy ballpark under John Fisher, but the counter to that is, but they had a great ballpark and still do in San Jose, and John Fisher owns the Earthquakes, and they're routinely last in spending, and they're routinely voted as the team with the worst ownership in MLS. So it may end up being one of those things where A's fans want to keep the A's, so they're in no matter what, and I completely identify with that as a Kings fan. But this may end up being like the biggest real estate thievery in modern times if they don't end up spending. What was the first year Golden One Center, by the way? Was it 16, correct? Yeah. The Kings in 2016.
17.
17,256. That's 99.7% capacity. The following year, 100.6% capacity. Give me a second here, Jay. 2018, they were at 100.3%. Now, I believe when they opened the arena, it was 3-year terms for the season tickets. So, yeah, you had 3 years of that, and then you started falling from there. So the A's fans can look at that. We'll take a break with the draft in a couple of weeks. Guys, folks are, as usual, using the Kings as a way to make their home teams better. We're going to take some of these trade scenarios from hoopshabit.com and just throw them out there as an example and see what you guys would do. We'll cover those trades next.
Nobody's giving AM and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios,
We are Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sort of a weird face, kind of unattractive.
Yeah!
It's the Carmichael Dave Show
Come on. Let's wake up.
with Jason Ross.
He is wise.
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK. When it breaks, we have it first.
KHTK Breaking News.
Well, we got a new member of the Big Boys Club. His name is Rob Walton. He has purchased the Denver Broncos. If you're wondering, is he one of those Waltons? The answer is yes. A Walmart heir, Rob Walton, according to many sources, has won the bidding for the Denver Broncos at $4.5 billion doll hairs. Yeah, that's right. The winning bid is expected to be announced as early as this month, but the Broncos will change hands after a long time ownership there. $4.5 billion. It becomes the most expensive sale of any franchise.
Till the next one.
Till the next one.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah. You think when you leave the games, you're going to have to show your receipt so they can go over everything you have? This is going to be a ton of.
I don't think prices will be rolled back.
You have the little smiley at the concessions if they get rolled back. What are they? Are they orange vests there?
I don't think they're orange.
Are they not orange?
Are they yellow?
Yeah, they're blue.
Blue.
Are they
and
blue?
Yeah, blue.
They changed the colors. Well, congratulations. Congratulations, Rob. It's been a long and winding road for you, pal. Tough life. You finally got a win.
Thank God.
$4.5 billion, which he probably just
Found that under the couch.
like, you know, people say like, oh, it's in his couch. It's probably his couch cushions. He probably has $4.5 billion in his couch cushions. Like a couple of like 4 $1 billion bills, and then maybe some 20s.
No, he bought the Broncos.
I'd say, you know, when you're invited over as a guest, like, we got 18 bedrooms. No, I'll sleep on the couch.
I'll sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
So it's like one of my rules, like if I go to a restaurant and it says market price, I can't afford it. And if you have a house that has more bathrooms than bedrooms, you're rich.
Yeah.
Like you see there's like 5 bedroom, 8 bath. Really? You using all
I've
that?
always been perplexed by that.
I have too.
As
Same,
someone who's
right?
always lived in a house with more bedroom than
Of
bathroom.
course. Same here. Always will.
Like, do you go to this? This is the Monday bathroom. This is the Tuesday
Right.
bathroom.
Okay, if you
Is it because they host a ton of parties, so
Yes.
there's a need for more bathrooms?
probably. But my question is this: if you had a 4-bedroom, 7-bathroom house,
Okay.
is one of those bathrooms only for poopies? Do you designate a specific bathroom, or do you just use whatever bathroom's closest to you?
Yeah, whatever's closest.
I'm sure it's whatever's closest.
I would have like a specific, like I'd set it up.
Yeah, but come on. You've had those like
Well, right, but
moments. It's like
yeah.
you're not thinking like, oh, have to go to the poop specific bathroom.
Yeah, take an elevator. I saw a thing on Wayfair yesterday. It was a toilet paper roll holder that had an iPhone holder in the right there, that little crevice. You just put your phone on top of the toilet paper holder, and there's one that can swing out. So it swings out from the wall, so you get your toilet paper and you got your phone right there. And I'm thinking that is going to make a lot of hemorrhoid doctors a lot of money. You should not be doing that. It's not.
And you bought it.
And I did, in fact, buy it. One more thing, because I know what we got to get to here. Danny Woodhead, you know who that is, right? Mm-hmm. He is in the final qualifier as we speak. If he finishes in the top 8, he will be playing in the U.S. Open.
That's awesome.
I'm looking at the live scoring right now. The leader is Mark Moldovan, who is 5 under. Danny Woodhead is on 11 plus 3.
Come on.
Not going to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Jay, help lead us through here, would you?
All right. So hoopshabit.com, which I had never heard of until
Love
this morning.
hoopshabit.com. Huge fan.
Had 3 suggested trades for the Sacramento Kings. I am going to propose these trades to each of you, and I want you to put on your best general manager cap and tell me if you were Monty McNair, would you accept or decline the offer?
Ooh, we can all be Monty.
Yep.
To be 37 and be general manager of a team.
You ready for number 1?
I am.
The Kings trade the 4th pick to the Washington Wizards in exchange for the number 10 pick and Contavious Caldwell Pope. Jason, your response.
That was mine.
Oh.
No. It's a no, but not a
You're so nice about it.
No, but it's not as I mean, I've seen these and I saw a lot of people's reaction. I guess I'm going to grade them when we hear all three. This one will not be last.
I don't disagree with that. It's not. It's not the. Here's the best I can say. It's not the worst trade I've ever heard in my entire life.
No, not anywhere near that. But let's get to the why is it a no for you? I mean, like 4 and 10 is obviously a difference in number, but you're getting a player in return.
You are.
It's just not enough. It doesn't move you enough.
Well, first off, I would have no problems having Contavious Caldwell Pope on the team. In fact, I think KCP is the type of player the Kings could use. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. You're dropping 6 places.
It's pretty significant
for Contavious Caldwell. I don't think he's that good. A and B, expiring.
Okay.
He makes $14 million next year, and that's it.
So any tweak to that, obviously, you're not getting Bradley Beal, but if there was...
But if I was.
Rui Hachimura. I'm trying to think of another maybe younger player.
Evadija.
Kyle Kuzma.
Okay.
No, doesn't move the needle.
No?
I don't really think anybody on Washington plus the 10 outside of Bradley Beal really moves the needle.
I'd be intrigued by Kuzma. I mean, 4, I really don't want to move.
4?
I really don't want to move the 4, but... So, we're funny, I think, as Kings fans in a sense. Like we willing trade Barnes, trade Holmes, make the team better, and then that's a terrible trade. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, this roster hasn't been very good. I'm not saying KCP is the difference. I would not do this, but I think a lot of times, unless it's Beal and their next 9 first-round picks, then I'd say yes. It's like, okay, come on. Now.
Just for funsies. Would you trade Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes for 2 years of Kristaps Porzingis?
I'm not big on Kristaps. Okay. Just doesn't really play much.
To be clear, I wouldn't either. Although I would at least listen, just because of the potential of seeing him and Sabonis together.
Why don't you listen to this deal then involving the Spurs of San Antonio, Texas?
Okay.
The Kings will trade the 4th pick and the not under contract Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
For
it's always great, by the way, when they don't even pay attention to that.
For Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, and the number 20 pick.
That's actually worse than the Contavious Caldwell Pope pick.
With that,
you're getting Doug McDermott, who's making almost $14 million for the next 2 years.
He can shoot,
and then he can shoot, and then Josh Richardson, who's
fine.
He can shoot and defend a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really where it is. You're getting some defense with Josh Richardson. And you're getting Doug McDermott, who is questionably worth $13.7 million, but for the next 2 years. And you're dropping 16 places in the draft. Eat a bag of tricks.
And losing DiVincenzo, I assume you have to sign first to make this happen.
And DiVincenzo and Josh Richardson, it's not apples to apples, but almost a wash. Yeah, you're essentially trading the 4 for Doug McDermott and the 20th. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's just
this one is my least favorite.
Bad.
This one is so incredibly stupid.
Bad.
And I hate. Anyways.
Hold on.
Yeah. There's more.
Our friends in Detroit are on the line. Should I pick up and see what they're offering?
Yeah. How's Marvin doing?
He's good.
Chris
Kojo.
Granger's out there. Kojo, yeah.
Kojo's actually the one proposing this trade.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Kojo hit me up. He said, we will trade for the 4th pick and the not under contract Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh, that's good.
In exchange for Jeremy Grant, Kelly Olynyk, and the 46th pick. Now, I'm going to, because it's so obviously it's a no from everyone. Let me throw this one out there instead. The Kings trade the 4th pick and Harrison Barnes for Jeremy Grant, Kelly Olynyk, and the 5th pick.
Well, it's certainly a better deal. That's certainly, it's night and day.
That's a discussion,
better.
Right?
It's night and day better. Here's the thing, and I understand. What's the line from The American President with Michael Douglas? When you're thirsty,
I am not a crook.
When you're thirsty and you're in the desert, it's like
you'll
drink the sand because you believe it's water. I understand where Kings fans are coming from. I really do. Jeremy Grant is not a great player. He is so overrated. It's a little bit silly to me. And let me put my money where my mouth is here. Jeremy Grant. Oh, first off, how old are we here? Jeremy Grant is 28. Right? It's not bad. Jeremy Grant has played 9 seasons. Jeremy Grant last year averaged 19.2 points a game. And by the way, he is 6'8", power forward. 19 points, 4 boards, 2.5 assists, and a block on, wait for it, 42% shooting from the 4. 35, let's call it 36% from 3. Okay, that's fine. And a good free throw shooter at 83%. When it comes to his advanced defensive numbers, okay, his defensive box plus minus is minus 0.2, which, by the way, would probably be top 3 on the Kings.
That's their best defender in 10 years.
He is a 1.2 value over replay. Like, here's the thing. Jeremy Grant is just above role player in the league. The fact that he scores 19
He's above
points,
average.
I don't think he is.
Really?
And I think here's where he's not above average. The fact of the matter is he's making $21 million next year. Oh, by the way, and I haven't even mentioned that, and then he's an unrestricted free agent. So you're grabbing a guy who I think is overrated because he scores 20 points a game, but that's about all he does. He's not a great shooter. He's not a great defender. You're basically getting Harrison Barnes, who scores a couple more points a game, on an expiring. But for some reason, you've got folks out there like Jeremy Grant, dude, perfect fit.
What about Kelly Olynyk in this?
I actually would be more excited about Kelly Olynyk's fit for the Kings than I would be for Jeremy Grant's. Jeremy Grant, I think, would just be shuffling deck chairs, except you're shuffling them for 1 year. Kelly Olynyk's making 12-8 and 12-1. He's on a descending Catanella special. You got Olynyk for the next few years, and that's a type of player. He's not a difference maker, but Olynyk's a guy the Kings have looked at before when he was in free agency. He's a guy that I think is scrappy and would fit in with this team. I'm more excited about that than I am Jeremy Grant. And if they wanted to throw out, we'll trade you the 5 and Kelly Olynyk and I don't know.
Something else. But not these 3 trades.
Marvin Bagley. What about this?
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, I'd take Cade.
Yeah.
But what about this? Would you take the Pistons wouldn't do it, but if they offered you Sadiq Bey and the 5 for your 4, you do that?
I'd really think about it. I think I'd have to know what the Kings think about. Like, is there a tier that drops at 4? Like, do they think they're really going backwards?
I'd have to consult with somebody who knows the market better.
Let me make it a little bit maybe easier for you. If Jaden Ivey's available at 4 and you're about to pick, that doesn't work as well as the Pistons do. I was like, the Pistons promised not to take him. Why would they give up Sadiq Bey for free? Okay, that doesn't make it easier. What does make it easier is a guy like Shelby who gets in charge of your refinances, your purchases with United Wholesale Lending. Hey, listen, it's going to be so ridiculously hot this summer. I hate it. In fact, I already feel like it's getting hot right now. But the heat, as opposed to the rain last weekend, is going to bring out the folks looking to buy their houses, and it's going to excite the people looking to sell their houses. You've seen the volatility in the rates market. Let Shelby be your port in a storm when it comes to either refining, taking cash out, consolidating debt, or maybe you want to purchase a home. He's local. He'll actually talk to you on the phone along with his team, Peter and everybody over there. They've been doing this for years. Simply go to refinancewithshelby.com. Refinancewithshelby.com to be pre-approved over the phone in under 15 minutes without a credit check. Refinancewithshelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRE number 0186435. You were expecting a long commercial break? You're not going to get it. 3 for Madness right now.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Magnus on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Question 1.
J. Mars.
Hi.
Was not aware of the band 30 Seconds to Mars.
Surprising.
But Jared Leto. It's a band named after Jay.
I knew Veronica Mars.
Was she Archie?
Yes, duh.
Yeah, okay. Question 1.
True or false? If Quinn Snyder has stepped down as soon as the Jazz were eliminated, he would already have a new head coaching job in the NBA.
True, but asterisk. If Quinn Snyder wanted to, he could have a head coaching job in the NBA next year, right now. I'm pretty sure if he went to Charlotte and said, I'll take the job. I'm not entirely unsure if you went to Sacramento and said I'd take the job, that they wouldn't go, okay. Hey, Mike, here's $20 million. Take care. Hey,
no, I'm pretty sure at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They're still paying 7 other head coaches.
It's not a coincidence that Quinn Snyder left when he left. I don't think he's worried about latching on. We'll talk more about this at 7:44. It sounds like he's going to take a year off, and one of two things is going to happen, and we'll tell you about that. There's one in particular I really think is going to happen. I think he's thought long and hard about this, and this is a very calculated move for Quinn.
Yeah, I would say I think it's false just because I think he wants the time off.
Yeah.
I think had he stepped down right when the Jazz got eliminated, I bet the Lakers would have made a big push.
Huge.
It would have been difficult to say no, but maybe he would have had to say no. And now it's tried to talk to the Jazz. Jazz clearly wanted him. Didn't look like it was going to work out. Maybe he's stepping away. A year, 2 years, whatever it might be, and then he's back. But I think I don't think he'd have a job.
Smart for him, though, because by doing this, a lot of the big players, he doesn't have to say no to them because he had a job, and then he can wait for all the positions to get filled. He doesn't care about saying no to Charlotte. He doesn't burn any bridges or tick anyone off.
Right.
And now he gets to have his year off.
Yeah.
I think it's smart. Now we get to sit back and watch as the Jazz turn.
Yeah, I guess he had hip surgery, so he's just getting better physically, and
Here we go, Danny Ainge.
Yes.
Number 2.
Question 2.
Rafael Nadal has 22 Grand Slam titles. Federer and Djokovic have 20 each, and they all played in the same time period. Which of the 3 would have benefited the most without the other 2 around?
So I actually think this is fairly clear cut. I think it's Rafael Nadal, and I'll tell you why. Because the French is the scud out of all the Grand Slams. The French is the one that we've had some of the biggest names in tennis. Didn't Pete Sampras either win one or never won one?
He did win one.
Yeah, the French is always the one. It's clay. It's weird. It's different, and Nadal dominates.
Yeah. So why would he benefit the most?
Because if the other 2 don't exist, he doesn't have to go through them in any of the other Grand Slams. And I think he's probably got about 20 Grand Slams more than any other player. Whereas my point is Nadal is so dominant at the French Open that. And not to say that the other 2 guys maybe wouldn't have won a couple in there, but I think it's a lot easier for a guy who is dominant at the French Open to win some of those other majors than it is for guys that win those other majors to win the French Open. We've seen that historically. So I think Nadal would be sitting there looking way down on Pete Sampras and friends going, hey there, guys.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. I think about that a lot with Phil Mickelson. I think might be one of the greatest golfers of all time. Well, he's here with Tiger.
Right.
What did Tiger keep him from? What would I don't know who would have won more at the Australian Open or at the French Open, between Federer and Djokovic.
Sure.
Maybe they're really, really good there.
Yeah.
They're just not as good as him. I mean, this is just amazing to see the 3 best of all time at the same time. It might be Djokovic because he's won on all 4, and
I think
he's done it in the less amount of time than maybe someone like Federer. But it's amazing what all 3 have done.
It's just I think the clay really kind of leads more towards rally type of tennis.
Yeah.
And so your big servers, not that gets negated, but it gets just enough of an edge off of it that's where sometimes they'll struggle. But when you look at Nadal, outside of the French Open, he's got 8 Grand Slams. 2 at the Australian, 2 at Wimbledon, and 4 at the U.S. Open. There's never any guarantee, but I just got to wonder if he's not going through those other 2
Right.
guys.
I saw someone kind of questioning that. Well, he's won 14. I'm like, just to your point, if you take the 14 away, he has 8. That gives him the same amount as Jimmy Connors, Yvonne Lendl, more than Agassi, or same as Agassi.
Yeah.
For their career.
Without the French Open.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's pretty ridiculous. Number 3.
Question 3.
A Kobe Bryant rookie jersey just went for $2.3 million at auction.
Wow.
If you had that jersey, would you have put it up for auction, hung onto it for a little while longer, or would you have never given that up?
Never going to give it up?
Never going to let you down?
run around
and lose
roll around, run around. Let's start this segment by acknowledging the fact that Kobe Bryant has passed away. We don't want to seem like we're being whatever and all that, but we're just simply talking about this question in a vacuum. So I'd like to think first off, I would not have the jersey because it would burn my eyes every time I looked at it. But let's say it was gifted to me by my great uncle Walton.
Yes.
Here's your Kobe rookie jersey. Oh, I would hold on to it.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Well, because, listen.
You wouldn't take the 2.3. That thing's gone.
Well, I guess it depends. Okay. I mean, really, we're getting into the philosophical aspects. If I acquired the jersey last week in the financial position I am in, which is not rich, I would 100% sell it.
Yeah.
Now, and let me change my life with $2.3 million. If I was rich enough to where I was probably in a position to have the rookie jersey and that $2.3 million wasn't really going to change if I'm just trying to maximize value, I even hate talking about this.
I don't know these things, but honestly, how much is it worth in 10 years?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not making any more.
Right.
And the older it goes, I mean, Mickey Mantle and Honus Wagner cards aren't going down anytime soon. The thing that I think it's so gross to talk about, but honestly, I just have to ask the question. Obviously, Kobe Bryant memorabilia took a huge spike after the crash.
Sure.
But I am curious as to what that jersey was valued at a week after the crash as opposed to right now, because sometimes that stuff will change things. Let's just be honest. Death has, in many cases, a positive effect on collectibles because you're not and I don't know if this jersey's signed or not. They don't say it is, so I assume it isn't. But again, it's something simple as that. You're not getting any new material out of that person. They have passed away. There is now a finite, limited quantity, and the market can never get flooded. That being said, if I was the person I am right now, I would sell it in a heartbeat.
For sure.
If I had money, I think it's worth more in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm in the first position, so it's sell it. Get that money. Good for them. $2.3 million. That's amazing.
Boy, 2.3. Imagine that.
And think about the purchasers. Like, well, either one, you're buying it as a collector, as a piece to show off, to maybe even an investor.
Right.
Like, I'll buy it for 2.3, but I'm going to flip this in 7-8 years for 4.1.
That's really what a lot of these people are doing. They're going to display it, but really, it's just all about. I bought it for 2.3. I sold it in a couple of years for 4.1.
So would you do like a full-on boudoir, like photo shooting it first and then sell it to say, hey, it was mine? You want to see?
What, you mean like take a picture wearing it?
Yeah, like the bed. Super sexy.
If I put that jersey on, you ever see the end of Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the dude looks into the thing and his face melts?
No, but I've seen the other Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark ending.
I hate him so much. My whole body would melt if I put on a Lakers jersey. Like I'm thoroughly.
I don't think it would.
I think
let's experiment.
Which is why
I'll bring one in tomorrow.
Melts.
This stupid uprising we have of like 4 Kings fans that are dead set on bringing back the gold jerseys. They all just need to go soak their heads.
You wouldn't be thinking about counting your money instead of worrying about melting.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there feeling real sexy in that jersey, thinking about all the riches I'm about to have.
Hold on a second. Are you saying, well, you can have the jersey, but you have to wear it? Okay. But if you're saying if I could still...
No, I'm just saying, wouldn't you want to document that you had this piece of memorabilia?
I'll document it. I've got 2.3 million ways of documenting it without putting it on my body.
That's true. Would you invest in another piece of memorabilia? Oh, me neither.
Yeah, a house.
That's a good...
Some like awesome stuff from Amazon. I get that toilet paper.
You do that already.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back,
the cat litter box that cleans itself.
Let's. But I don't have a cat.
Yeah, we'll get you one.
Screw cats. We mock the mocks. It's Josh Lloyd of Locked On Fantasy Basketball. His mock next.
Sports 1140 KHTK.
Of course, every morning. Nothing can top it.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
I like this guy.
With Jason Ross on Sports 1140.
KHTK.
Draymond also said post-game that he's earned preferential treatment. That's goofy.
Has he?
No. If anything, I mean, which is it, Draymond? Have you earned preferential treatment, or do you get treated differently because of your reputation? Mm-hmm. Or is he saying, I've earned preferential treatment, but I don't get it?
That's kind of felt like the vibe.
He got it. He got it yesterday. Mm-hmm. He got it yesterday. I mean, listen, not to trigger half of our audience, but if that's DeMarcus Cousins, he's out the rest of the finals. And probably October. He is playing in Turkey next year because he has been booted out of the NBA. We mock the mocks each and every day. Today, Adam Silver is really, can I just say this? He's been really cool about hanging out here and getting up and down on our podiums every morning.
He's getting his steps in.
He is getting his steps in. He's here right now, and Orlando is on the clock with, once again, our mocking of the mocks, this time Locked On Fantasy Basketball's mock with Josh Lloyd.
With the first pick, the Orlando Magic select.
I just got to ask because I didn't pick this one. Did you pick this or did Jay pick it?
I did.
Oh, because with the first pick in the draft, Chet Holmgren goes to Orlando. Jay is all in on Chet being the number one pick.
Yeah. Magic Chet.
And more of the mocks have Jabari, so this was good. This is a little different. This has Chet Holmgren number one.
He goes to Orlando. We've talked about this before. Bye Bamba, most likely, if that's the case. And Mo Bamba,
also a great song,
is a free agent.
Do you think, honestly, right now, Orlando's draft room, they know 100% what they're doing?
No.
Today, at this minute?
I don't.
I think they know of the three who they'll pick. I just don't know if they're also open to trade ideas.
So you think they have locked in without having worked out individually Chet or Jabari?
Maybe not 100%, but I feel like at this point you have been scouting these guys for years. You've been to their games. You've seen all of this. Now you still have a little bit more due diligence, obviously, but I think they have a good idea. Yeah, as I think, because again, they're number one, number two, number three, number four, number five, number 12. You don't know because you don't know how the draft's going to go.
You're reacting to what's done ahead of you.
I think it's usually a lot easier. It's a lot easier to know what you're doing when you have the number one. That's what I think.
Okay.
Number 2.
With the second pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select
Jabari Smith Jr.
Okay.
That way, I think
that's normal.
Yeah.
In some order. Sometimes this one's flipped, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, I think
OKC's a real wild card, though.
I agree.
I do too.
I agree with you because
don't forget they also have the 12th pick.
Yes,
I think if you're Oklahoma City and Jabari Smith goes first, and you've got to choose between Banchero and Holmgren, especially next year in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, who's probably going to be the most heralded number one we've had since, God, what, Anthony Davis? I'm trying to think.
Cat was pretty heralded.
He's going to be more heralded than Cat. Victor Wembanyama is
no, he's going to be special.
Ridiculous.
Zion was pretty heralded.
Yeah, Zion probably. I think Sam Presti would 100% trade out of this if it's not Jabari Smith. I do. I think in his mind it's Banchero. If somebody wants to, Holmgren, if somebody wants to step up and give me a boatload, like you want to step up and you want to give me like an unprotected and like maybe a couple of pick swaps and 2 firsts out of this from a bad team. Like I think if the Kings offered, God, please don't. If the Kings offered like the number 4 and maybe a 2026 first rounder, top 3 protected. I think
any Kings first round pick with light protections don't even matter the year at this point. Yeah. If you're another GM, you're like,
They're the most valuable draft picks in the league. than they have been for years.
Yeah.
I think they do it. So I'm not entirely convinced Oklahoma City takes this pick.
I'm not either.
If there was any team in the top 4 that I could see trading that pick, it would be Oklahoma City. Number 3.
With the third pick, the Houston Rockets select
The first of what I think is going to be a couple of more than a few mock drafts as we get closer to this month's draft that's going to be doing this. Houston selects Jaden Ivey.
Oh?
Is this the first one we've seen with Ivey going top 3?
People have mentioned it.
so.
They've talked about it, but no one's done that in years 1.
I'm on board with this idea. I think Ivey's going to go top 3. I do. That's when I said last week I'm changing from Keegan Murray to Jaden Ivey as far as who I think the Kings would take. The caveat there was I don't know that Jaden Ivey's going to be available.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Ivey's going to be the Giddey / Barnes of this year's draft. He's just everything you're hearing. People are raving about him. And, again, the higher you pick, ceiling is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And they may be wrong, but I think conventional wisdom is starting to say that Jaden Ivey has a higher ceiling than Paolo Banchero. Now, Banchero almost certainly probably has a higher floor than Jaden Ivey and may be, Jabari Smith is, but other than Jabari Smith, may be the safest pick in the draft.
Yeah, and let's listen. And if you're the Kings and he falls to you at 4, that's not the worst case scenario.
If Paolo Banchero falls to you at 4, you love the world.
Sure.
Are you kidding me? It ain't going to do much for you. Again, young players, they can always improve, but not known for his defense. But his passing ability, his shot making ability, his basketball IQ, his overall game,
his motor,
great,
size,
everything.
He's coming in NBA, physicality wise.
Right, and if you're the Kings, that's the one area you've really struggled in outside of the center position. You've always had, good size. But 1 through 4, you've always been on the smaller end of the spectrum.
And let's be honest. Again, we don't know what kind of player these guys are going to be long term, but based on pure specs, Banchero is a better fit for this team than Ivey.
Sure.
He's a better fit for the team than Ivey. He would plug right into that power forward spot. And you go Banchero and Sabonis down low. And then you've got Fox, maybe Mitchell if they start them both there. And now you got to work
Harrison
on
Barnes at 3 at that point, which Harrison, if you move Harrison back down to the 3, you 3, 4, 5, you actually have pretty decent size for the first time in, God, I don't know how long.
What was I saw something over the weekend that was kind of intriguing to me. I think it was some sort of combination. I think it was like Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes for Tobias Harris.
Mm.
And if they end up getting Banchero, that's interesting.
You can't really play Tobias at the 3 anymore. He's so slow.
Could you play Banchero at the 3?
I don't think so. If his outside shot improved, maybe, but he just doesn't shoot the ball well from the outside yet.
Not for nothing, dudes. We gotta move to the Kings pick, who we've mainly been talking about.
Yeah.
But just for funsies, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Green is your backcourt.
I was going to say, a lot of the teams, the Kings included, have guards they feel like they could probably go forward with. But like OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but would they take Ivey? Sure, they could. Kings, Fox, Mitchell. Yeah, a lot of the teams up there have some guards, but adding Ivey would help.
And to be fair with Ivey, too, it's not like he's a pure point guard or a pure 2 guard. He's a combo guard.
Yep.
He can work in a lot of different lineups.
Yep. Yes. That would be a blur of a backcourt, as would Fox and Ivey, too. Though.
Yeah.
Oh, Fox and Ivey with Sabonis having the ball at the top of the key, look out. That team's going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah, it would just.
They're not going to defend anybody.
Like in Bugs Bunny when the Tasmanian Devil would move.
Yeah.
You just saw this blur. That's what those guys would be.
Spinning blur.
And honestly, go to Adam Silver. We're talking about this already. Go ahead.
with the 4th pick, the Sacramento Kings select
Dyson. I'm just kidding. They
Mike Dyson.
Paolo Banchero. Wouldn't. I know we overuse it because it's what we remember, we know, and we love. But Jason, both you guys remember this very specifically. If the Kings drafted Jaden Ivey and they could somehow find, grab what's his face from the Heat that's not playing, the shooter.
Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson. I don't know. Let's say you were able to flip Harrison Barnes and whatever for Duncan, even if it would take that much. I don't know. And you were to roll out like Fox, Ivy, Robinson, Sabonis, and I don't know, whatever. You got to find a 4. Wouldn't that be the perfect place to plug in Pete Carrill's offense? Sabonis up top, especially if you could find a 4 that could pass the ball too. You've got Robinson in the Peja spot.
That's Pete Carrill. He's looking to get back in.
Right? And then, your backcourt's, Baby Christie versus Ivy Fox, a little different. But imagine those guys cutting all over the place. When you got Sabonis at the top, like he just running the offense and then just driving down low and busting fools in the mouth.
I think they should do that regardless of who they draft. I mean, you go to your strengths of your best players.
I am 100% with you. It's very, 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 very interesting. So we are, what are we? Is it 23rd?
Yeah, a couple weeks from, is it a Thursday?
It's a Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday the 23rd.
So what, 2 weeks from this?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday?
Almost there.
Then you got Summer League.
Yeah.
And you got the preseason, media day.
Well, Summer League playoffs, then preseason.
Got a championship to defend.
EuroLeague.
Only team to ever win 2 Summer League championships. Yes. Jason, would you give up one of those would you give up both Summer League championships for a real NBA title?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, 2's always better than 1.
Yeah.
I had one more thing for y'all. Oh yeah, here's what I wanted to play for you. This is we always talk about how the game has changed. I want you to listen. I want you to notice here. This is from a young rookie, and what this young rookie did in his very first game in the NBA. And listen to the announcers. Why am I looking at the stupid Gerber baby? Come on, Dave, be organized. Jeez,
that is a rookie.
I'm liking the tweet and it's not showing up in my likes. We do have more from the Gerber baby later, and now I've totally screwed it up. I'll play you audio later because it's not populating on my Twitter of the announcers reacting to Steph Curry shooting a 3-pointer in transition. Spoiler alert, they weren't fans of it. We'll take a break. When we come back, Quinn Snyder steps down. Will he fall down when he steps down? Big press conference, all that stuff. And also some stuff from ESPN Deportes. Trust me, that's always fun audio. We'll do that next.
Nobody's giving you more Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute.
on Sports 1140 KHTK.
We'll get to finals adjustments here in a couple segments. I want to take you real quick before we talk about Quinn Snyder. You might have missed this. The Marlins AA affiliate, what the heck are they? You know who the Marlins AA affiliate is, anyone? Off the top of your head?
The Lugnuts.
You're not far off. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos. All right, so I take you to the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Wahoos were down 6-0. There's nobody out. I'm not entirely sure who's on base here, how many are. It doesn't matter. So they were down 6-0. They've now put up a 4 spot, okay? And they got the 4th run via hit by pitch.
Okay.
The bases are loaded.
Right.
That would make that sense. And then this happened.
The 0-1. High and tight, and it hits him. A hit by pitch will load the bases. One pitch to Ray Patrick Ditter. Inside, and that hits Ditter.
That's 2 in a row.
A hit by pitch forces in a run. It's a 5-run effort for the Blue Wahoos.
6-5.
Another 2-2 from Torino. Fletcher Vance is hit by a pitch. It's the 3rd straight hit batsman, and this game is tied.
Tied up at 6. No outs. Bases loaded.
Hollins today 0 for 2. A strikeout, a walk, a flyout,
First pitch
and
to the next
he was
batter.
hit by a pitch in the 8th inning. Winning run is now at 3rd. No margin for error.
That's what's gonna
Infield
happen.
in, outfield in. The first pitch. Hollins is hit by a pitch. He'll go to first, and the Blue Wahoos walk it off for the 3rd night in a row.
Do you celebrate and then charge them and fight them?
4 straight hit by pitch to walk off the game. Have you ever even heard of anything like
not.
that? Also, according to NBA Central, and Lakers Daily is picking up on this because, of course, they are. An NBA insider. You know, technically, I mean, I'm not making a joke here. You or me could be quoted as NBA
Sure,
insiders.
absolutely.
That's how. I mean, no offense. You're actually you work in the NBA, but that's how loose the term NBA insider is. They're talking about a potential Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving trade. Quote, from a logical standpoint, it makes sense. From a logical standpoint, the Nets are absolutely sick of the Kyrie Irving experience. The Lakers are sick of the Russell Westbrook experience. I don't even have to look to know. I'm sure that the contracts somewhat match up.
Just KD with Russ again sounds so great to me.
That would make a ton of sense.
Yeah. And LeBron with Kyrie.
And by the way, yeah, like, in what world did I understand the Nets might be sick of Kyrie Irving, but really?
Yeah.
Here's that Steph Curry audio.
He may be in the top 5 in the NBA. There's a mismatch. Yep. Well, it wasn't a mismatch for long because Curry stole the ball. Puts up a 3.
How about that? The rookie in his first game in the NBA makes a steal and goes down and jacks up a 3.
After an assist.
Jacks up a 3.
What is he doing?
Yeah. It's not going to last long. Can't do that long.
When somebody says Steph Curry is partially ruined the game, do you buy that at all?
No.
I don't.
It's made the game better.
It depends on how they mean it, though. And the only way I can make a logical leap that Steph Curry has contributed, Steph Curry has poorly influenced the game, has absolutely nothing to do with Steph Curry whatsoever. If you want to say that Steph Curry has had a negative effect in the following sense, that there's a bunch of players coming up that want to be Steph Curry that don't have his talent, and so they're jacking up, 4-point shots instead of threes, but they can't make them because everyone want to be like Mike, you want to be like Steph. I could kind of buy that a little bit. That's not Steph's fault.
Right.
That has nothing to do with Steph.
Right.
You're just not Steph.
Exactly. One of a kind. One of one.
One of one. Quinn Snyder. Maybe he'll be coaching Steph in a couple years. He has stepped down as Jazz head coach. 8 seasons in Utah. Fantastic record. Just Utah. Was it last year Utah had the best record in the league? The year before?
Yeah, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, is this team, and the irony is one of the names they're looking at is Terry Stotts.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Stotts takes the Blazers to the playoffs 8 straight years. They get rid of him, bring in Chauncey Billups. Dame gets hurt, then they blow it up.
Right.
Are they going down the same path? Utah's been really good, consistently good.
Yes.
Not good enough.
No.
I don't know what they could do. Plug in new coach, sure.
Sure.
I don't know. What are they going to be next year, Dave? If they don't change anything, anywhere from I don't know if they'll be a 1 seed, but I'll even give them as high as a 1 seed to a 6, 7, 8. I don't know. But are they good enough? It doesn't seem like it is.
Do we have any examples recently, and by recently I mean the last 10 years, let's say 15 maybe, of a team that just kind of was knocking on the door, didn't really do any crazy moves, but somehow ended up, or maybe added, a minor player and somehow went to the next level? I feel like Phoenix just kind of built.
Yeah. I mean, but adding Chris Paul changed
Chris
that.
Paul was huge. And I feel like Utah got better when they added Mike Conley, but Mike Conley's getting a little old now.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz were 49-33 this last season. They were 49-33, and what was really crazy is they were 20-21 on the road. They won almost 50 games, and they were under 500 on the road. For comparison, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other teams in the Western Conference alone that were above 500 on the road, including the Jazz. The Timberwolves were also 20-21. They matched the Jazz. The Jazz were 15-1 in their division.
Wow.
It's one of those, be careful what you wish for.
Right.
Like, I know from our standpoint, I know from our standpoint, from a Kings standpoint, we'd kill to have that. Are you kidding me? You give us 49-33, and we're raising a banner that says 49 wins. Donovan Mitchell, of course, immediately, according to reports, saying he's unsettled and unnerved, and he wonders about the Jazz's future. You feel like that statement's been in the drafts.
Right.
And it's either Donovan saying, I want out, or it's Donovan saying, I better have a real input on who the new head coach is going to be. If it's Terry Stotts, they're not rebuilding. I can't see them grabbing him to rebuild.
Yeah.
But Danny Ainge is in charge of this team, and Danny Ainge gets, I think, deserves most of the credit. I would say 80% of the credit for the construction of this team. When I'm trying to think of my timeline here, when Brad Stevens moved to the front office, Ime Udoka replaced him.
Yeah, Brad Stevens hired him.
And Brad Stevens hired him. And Danny stepped out before Brad Stevens went to the front office?
Yeah, because he basically took Danny's job.
Yeah, but was that all part of the same move? Did Danny leave and Brad? That's what I'm wondering.
No, I think Danny was out.
Okay.
And then
Brad stepped.
Yeah, that's what I believe to be true.
So Brad gets a ton of credit for that, obviously. But Danny is in Utah now, and he's got quite the canvas.
Yeah, the choices are to break up Mitchell and Gobert.
Yeah.
Or go at it again. And Mitchell, I think, will fetch you more, though he makes less money than Gobert. Gobert's hard to move. He makes a ton of money, and I think he's I think the blanket statement is every team would want a player like Rudy Gobert, but I don't think everybody wants Rudy Gobert, if that makes sense.
No, I agree.
Because he would help everybody, but he's a very specific type of player that is so good defensively. I will say limited offensively, but the Jazz don't really use him in a way to. I mean, you're not going to do pick and pops for him. He's a rim runner, a finisher on the inside, lob dunk kind of guy. You know, there's talk in Phoenix that they may not be able to keep Ayton. Like somewhere like that where it's already established.
Sure.
He'd be good there, but what are they giving up to get him?
If you're Utah and Phoenix offers you DeAndre Ayton and a sign and trade, do you do the deal?
I think it's interesting.
I guess a lot of that depends on if Rudy wants out.
Yeah, I mean, Rudy's going to make 37 next year.
That's more.
Yeah, then
That's more
40, then 43, then 45.
That's more than Ayton's going to make. How old is Rudy? Do you have that in front of you?
I don't, but I'm guessing
28?
late 20s would be my guess.
Who would you rather have as a Sacramento? Let's say
It's going to be 30.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's say you had to give up the same amount of whatever. Would you rather have Gobert or Mitchell? On the Kings specifically.
Mitchell. I say that, but Mitchell. Okay, so now we're looking at faults. I am giving nothing but faults of Gobert. There's way more strengths.
Sure.
Mitchell's undersized. Mitchell's 6'1".
Yeah.
Incredibly talented, though.
Yeah.
So you'd have a small backcourt. It all depends on what you're giving up. And obviously, when we said that earlier on our YouTube, if you're getting someone that good, you're moving Sabonis or Fox. If you're Utah, you're going to want one of those pieces.
If you got Gobert, wouldn't you kind of have to move Sabonis? Can Sabonis and Gobert occupy the same space?
I thought that would be the draw of having Gobert, is he would fill in the pieces that Sabonis defensively can't. Offensively, you just hope he's not in the way.
That's the issue.
That's where you go, like, can Sabonis do a lot of this high post and more outside, but his bully ball is pretty good. May not be the best fit.
Aren't there more Donovan Mitchells than Rudy Gobert's?
Yeah, but again, I think there's who gives you a better chance? Clean slate, you're starting a team with Gobert, or you're starting with Mitchell. Who are you winning more games with? And I honestly, I don't know the answer to that.
It's a tough question. I think if you're starting, if I pick a player that I can start from scratch, and I got to pick Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and by the way, age is a factor. So
Right.
let's say they're both 25.
Yeah, one's 25, one's 30.
You're starting from scratch. You're taking Mitchell because of the age. I would take Gobert. I would take Gobert because I got a better chance of drafting Donovan Mitchell than I do Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Defensive players of the year don't grow on trees.
Right.
Defense wins championships. You've got to have an anchor.
Yeah, and the Jazz win all the time.
Right.
I mean, they were winning before Mitchell was there with Gobert, but
By the way, Donovan Mitchell's a better all-around player,
Yes.
I think, than Rudy Gobert. But what Rudy Gobert lacks on offense compared to Mitchell, he far more makes up on defense than with Mitchell. We'll take a break. The NBA Finals are even at 1 apiece. Let's get into Game 2. What the heck happened with the Celtics? We'll do that next.
Sports 1140. 1140.
KHTK.
Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM, and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
We are the home for the Kings, Raiders, the NFL, and the A's.
We are Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sort of a weird face, kind of unattractive.
Yeah!
It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
Come on. Let's wake up.
With Jason Ross.
He is wise.
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Well, game one was a blast, unless you are a Warriors fan.
Right.
Game two was a blast, unless you're a Celtics fan. But I think game one was a better game. Would you say objectively?
Oh, 100%. Way better. It was really high-level basketball. Moments of game two.
Moments of game. The first half of game
yeah.
two, really. By the way, people talking about De'Aaron Fox, every time we bring up Donovan Mitchell, and I've had this conversation too, it's, why wouldn't you trade De'Aaron Fox for Donovan Mitchell? I would submit to you the following. They're pretty much the same guy.
Okay.
I don't think people realize it that much because one plays for the Kings and one plays for the Jazz. But last year, for example, Donovan Mitchell had him by less than 3 points a game. De'Aaron had more assists. They basically had the same amount of rebounds. Mitchell's a significantly better free throw shooter. But would you believe that De'Aaron Fox shoots 47% from the field to Donovan Mitchell's 44.8? Like, that's 3 points almost. They're basically a wash defensively. Mitchell's numbers look much better defensively than De'Aaron's. They're not much better, but better enough defensively. But he also plays with Rudy Gobert behind him, and there's an osmosis effect there.
Sure.
I would contend this simply. And they make the exact same amount of money to the penny. This would be my contention. Have the Jazz draft De'Aaron Fox and have the Kings draft Donovan Mitchell. They're almost the exact same guy, except I think De'Aaron's got him by like 3 inches.
Yeah, Mitchell's barely 6. Or I say barely. He's 6'1", listed at 6'1". And the other big difference is that the Jazz have been to the playoffs, and Mitchell's had individual success. We've seen what he looks like in the playoffs. Well, Fox hasn't had that chance.
And I think a lot of people, now, to be fair, Mitchell is a better free throw shooter and Donovan Mitchell is a better 3-point shooter. Neither of them are killing it, though. 35.5% to 30%. 30% is terrible, though. I just think most people think that Donovan Mitchell is significantly better than De'Aaron Fox. I would submit to you, switch the teams.
Yeah. Fox, same stats on Utah. He's a multi-time All-Star right now.
I completely agree with you.
Because of the winning.
Now, on top of that, if you offered the Utah Jazz De'Aaron Fox straight up for Donovan Mitchell, I think they say no.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if you offered De'Aaron Fox in the number 4 pick for Donovan Mitchell, they'd probably say yes, but that's what it would take.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell is not the number 4 pick better than De'Aaron Fox in any capacity, in my opinion. So, no, I'm good. I love Donovan Mitchell, but yeah, I'm good. Anyways, last night. It was the surrounding cast that was really, really the difference. Your stars did what they do, and that's fine and dandy and all. And Jason Tatum had a much better game. But I would submit to you this, Jason Ross. Jason Tatum had 28 points and 3 assists, as opposed to, 12 points and 13 assists in his last game? Are the Celtics better with Jason Tatum having 13 assists or 28 points?
They're better. Well, the 13 assists gets them that hot shooting and all the contributions from Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, Grant Williams, Derek White, Marcus Smart. Instead, yesterday you had Horford, Williams, and Smart all go for 2 points. And Tatum, by the way, also had, I think, 21 or 23 at half.
Yeah.
So, the game is in the balance still at halftime. I still want to say Tatum hit a 3 Might have been about 5 minutes left in the third, 4 minutes left in the third, somewhere in there. And it's a 2-possession game. So we have a game.
Yes.
And then the blitz happened at the end of the third, early fourth, and it was no longer a game. So it was the supporting cast of the Warriors far better than the Celtics yesterday.
The Warriors outscored Boston 31-30 in the first, 21-20 in the second. They took a 2-point lead into the half. Boston outscored Golden State 24-20 in the fourth, which would be a net increase of 2 points for Boston. 35-14 in the third.
Yeah.
That's what that's
2 straight third quarters.
That was that. And when you put 35-14, when you put the 2 quarters together, let me do the quick math. 73-38. The Warriors have outscored Boston in the third quarter. So my thought is this, Jason. Boston needs to learn how to stop the Warriors in the third quarter. That's my analysis.
Yeah.
It's really rough.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, is 2 games a coincidence? And if not, does that mean that Steve Kerr and Mike Brown are pantsing Ime Udoka and his staff? How much of that is adjustments at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of it, obviously. The Celtics, I felt, were turning the ball over a ton for a lot of the first half, but yet, again, they were in the game. And now it felt like it was the combination of turning the ball over and not making shots. Boston, as you said, what did they score in the first? 30?
30 points.
And then I think 34 in the next 2 quarters.
Yeah.
So Warriors defense got better. Warriors offense started to click. Boston continued to turn the ball over. I thought early on the Warriors got the benefit of calls. That was early. I mean, as the game went along, it didn't really dictate much. But to me, one of the things that was compelling about this series going in, as we say, styles make fights, Boston, every time they lose in the postseason, they win the next game.
Yep.
Warriors now, after last night, every time they lost, they win the next game. It's kind of been the desperate team that has to win. Both these teams have been great at that. Neither team has lost 2 in a row the entire playoffs. If that holds up, that's Boston in 7. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. They got the lead in the series, which I think was important for them. They do have home court because they stole one. But, I mean, I feel pretty confident saying I think, Dave, after 4, it's going to be 2-2 in whatever way, shape, or form.
The difference in this game, other than the third quarter, it was quite simply the opportunistic ways of the Warriors defensively. There's 2 glaring things here. 15 steals for the Warriors, 5 steals for the Celtics. That's insane. 15 steals is insane, which means credit to the Warriors, but also Boston's playing sloppy basketball. Right. Here's the other thing. The Warriors won this game by 19 points. They had 3 more free throws than Boston, free throw attempts. Boston actually made just 1 less. They shot better from the line. Both teams were 15 of 37 from behind the arc. The entire difference in this ball game is that Boston was 30 of 80 from the field as a whole, whereas the Warriors were 39 of 86. They had 9 more baskets made in this game. They shot 45.3% to Boston's 37.5%. So you combine that with the steals, that's simply what it was. And by the way, Jason, again, not to disrespect the Warriors defense, because it certainly did step up, and props to them. Boston missed a lot of open shots yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of open shots.
Yeah, early on, I felt the Warriors did too. Remember all those layups they were missing? But,
oh, God, yes.
Yeah, but it's, again, I think it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams. There was much more of a sense of desperation. And I know that's kind of a common theme thrown out, but you said it Friday. I think you're probably right. Like, if the Warriors lost and it's 2-0 or 0-2 for them going to Boston.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, last year the Bucks came back from 2-0, but they didn't lose the 2 at home.
Right.
So, could the Warriors have come back? Sure. Mathematically, of course. I just think they would have been really buried. They needed the game more. I think they played that way. They played with the urgency. And at one point, once it starts to unravel on you and you get hit by that run, especially like that 3 by Poole late in the quarter, then the 3 right on top of it from half court, basically. I mean, it's 24 going into it's over. And they took their spirit and they're like, you know what? We got a game. It's 1-1. We're okay.
We talked about this. You spoke on the referees, and we talked about this very early in the 6 a.m. Steve Javi is the Mike Pereira of the NBA Finals broadcast team, former referee. And during the little, I don't even know if you want to call it a skirmish with Jaylen Brown and Draymond Green. There's a lot of color going on there. Brown, green. I just realized that, by the way. I don't know why I never put that together. Anyway, it's a very colorful exchange. And Draymond Green already had a technical. So here's Steve Javi talking about what the referees are thinking about.
The two guys were going after each other. Jesse, I think you hit the nail on the head, and Mark, too. Mark Jackson, you hit the nail on the head where you have to consider one player has definitely a technical foul. Is this enough to call a double T and eject the one player? Personally, I would say nothing, and I would just let it diffuse as that. That's just my opinion.
Well, Steve, my question to you is, as a referee over there in the huddle, are you thinking about the fact that Draymond has one technical already?
Absolutely. I think that's part of good officiating is the fact that you have to know who has the technical fouls. And in this situation, one of the players does. Is this enough to warrant an ejection is what you have to think about.
And that's the conclusion I think you and I both came to that we agree upon. If you want to, and I think a lot of people are misinterpreting this, if you want to argue that it didn't deserve a technical foul, I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly,
I don't think it did.
I'm fine with it not being a double technical.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that, especially in the finals, man. Like, come on, let them talk, no harm, no foul type of thing. That's a different topic. But whether or not Draymond Green has a technical foul, in my opinion, should have absolutely no bearing as to whether or not it's a technical foul. You should not. The referee shouldn't even be thinking about it. If they felt it was a double technical, and that results in Draymond Green being tossed, that's what resulted. And yeah, he's going to go on his podcast later and he's going to yammer about it. And all the Warriors fans are going to say, "Oh, we're so glad I came to watch the referees ref." And you're going to deal with all that. I get it. Shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be making calls. Basically.
And there's little things like that that I think can frustrate fans. I'll speak for myself on that where officials, like for example, we've seen this play happen many times where, let's use De'Aaron Fox. He's going to the line, or he's going to the hoop. He goes all the way, and it looks like a foul. Maybe the refs let it go, but they wait for the result. It rolls out.
Yes.
Then they blow the whistle.
Yes.
It's like, well, wait, was it a foul or not? It's like, well, I'm going to give him the basket if I'm not going to call a foul, but it rolled out, so now I'm blowing the whistle. Like that kind of stuff, now you are dictating the terms of the game.
And that's the thing, like, that's probably the most common one. I mean, we can't really quantify whether or not a star player versus a rookie gets calls. Like that's tough to do. We know it happens.
Right.
But you see that at least twice a game.
Yeah.
At least twice a game. They're waiting for the ball to fall or miss before they call the foul.
Well, and the one that happens a lot that gets changed that bothers me in replay. So you and I are boxing each other out, and I reach over you to try to get the rebound, but you likely hit the ball out of bounds, but I probably fouled you.
Yeah.
They'll just go Dave's ball.
Right.
Now, when they review it, you touched it last, but I fouled you. But since they didn't blow the whistle, letter of the law, you touched it. But they're protecting. It's like, we'll just go the other way.
And you need to adjust the rules a little bit there. Like if you go back, it's got to be either you can look for everything or you can only look for specific things. Like if you go back and the whistle didn't blow, but there was a foul there, and on review you see that there was a foul there that you missed.
Yeah.
Should you be able to call that foul retroactively?
Which they don't do that. But yeah, you almost wish to, and I think it's the tone that the Warriors set at the beginning. Really, it was Draymond, and the officials kind of, I think, let them go a little bit more. But if you started aggressively calling those fouls,
right,
you dictate the tone of the game.
People on the YouTube chat, we appreciate you coming in. People on the YouTube chat, you can go to YouTube at Cage Decay or going back and forth talking about Zach LaVine and the fit he'd be here. And I love Zach LaVine and made a huge error in judgment when he was a free agent. And Vlade offered him that 4 years, 80. And I was like, I don't know about that. He's too injured. Well, he's been fantastic. But I would challenge everybody on the YouTube chat, if you brought in Zach LaVine and you went with a Fox Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, that's now 60% of your starting lineup. Who's playing defense?
You keep worrying about that.
Because I don't think people think about it.
Yeah.
I think they look at Zach LaVine and they see dunks and they see scoring, and he's fantastic. But I really would love to start I wish it's almost like how they do those educational videos, to hit on different things. the way NBA fan culture goes, it's just how it's marketed.
Right.
It's nobody's fault. I'm not talking down to anybody. It's the way it is. They don't market defense. No. But yet, look at both teams that are in there right now.
Number
Draymond
one,
Green,
two.
Marcus Smart, number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
We're stuck on NBA Top Shot, and we're not looking enough at where's the grit, where's the grind, where's the defense.
Yeah. Hey, they were 30th 2 years ago, 29th last year. It's just going to take
Moving
one a
on
year.
up.
Yeah. About 20 years, they'll be ready to go.
Why will this finals be won in the next game? I'll tell you why when we get back.
Sports 1140.
KHTK.
To get live and local sports talk in the morning.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
On the king of Sacramento sports talk. Sports 1140 KHTK.
What was that car song that came out 44 years ago today? I was playing before the show. You remember?
Man.
I don't know. One of their big hits came out 44 years ago today. Let's pause for a word from this guy here.
Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. Sorry I haven't been around lately. It's just that
Where you been?
everything has been so depressing and so negative.
Thanks, OJ.
Oh, Orenthal.
OJ wants you to know that everything's been so depressing and so negative. Well,
What do you think OJ has the Kings taking it for?
What's OJ's mock draft?
There were jokes in there.
There's a lot of them. This is the 40th time the teams have split the first 2 games of the NBA Finals. In the previous 39 instances, the team that wins Game 3 has gone on to win this series 82.1% of the time. The 32-7. I think whoever wins.
So you're going math here.
I'm going with math, but I'm also going this way. Boston wins Game 3.
Okay.
You've got 2 games in Boston, 2 games left in Golden State, and Golden State has to beat them 3 of 4.
Why?
No way.
Why?
You're not beating Boston 3 of 4 on a neutral site. You're beating Boston 3. Listen, let me back up.
So if the Warriors win,
nothing's impossible. Nobody had the Cavs
Right.
coming back down. Like a caveat, I don't like absolute.
Sure.
I'm saying highly unlikely and would bet the house.
So last year was 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks won 4 in a row.
They did.
What if the Warriors win in 5? So they gentleman sweep, lose game 1 and win 4. Like, I wouldn't have thought they could win 4 straight.
Either, but do you?
But why is it like one more game then says, oh, they can't win 3 of 4?
Well, you said it earlier. You've got both teams that lose a game and then they win.
Every time they've won the next
every single time.
They've neither one has lost 2 in a row.
Boston would have to lose 4 or 5.
Right.
And with 2 of those at home. You think that's likely? I know it's possible.
Right.
And by the way,
so if it's 2-1, whoever wins Game 3, so you're saying 2-1, decent. I mean, there's a pretty good chance it's 2-2.
Sure,
but it's still over.
Well, and then you go the other way. You go Warriors. Warriors win Game 3.
Right.
Okay.
They got home court back.
Got home court back now. They've won 2 or 3 or 2 in a row. They're rolling.
And they'll
now.
say, hey, they just had an outlier 4th quarter. We're the better team.
And you look at now, if they win Game 3 in Boston, to your point, they basically won most of the first 3 games. If you, like you said, you take away that horrific, whatever the heck happened, we'll look back at that 4th quarter in Game 1, and we'll go, oh God, what an outlier!
Yeah.
That was just maybe somebody spiked the punch. it would be that. I just, again, if the Warriors get back home court, I don't see Boston beating them. 3 of 4
Yeah.
when they have home court, and same thing the other way around. I think Game 3 is really, really, really important.
Yeah, I think, to me, I feel like it's so much less about Steph because I expect him to be great. I know Tatum wasn't great shooting-wise in Game 1, but he was good yesterday, and he had a bunch of assists in Game 1. I think Brown's going to be good. I think those guys will be somewhere near what we expect. I think it's those other players on both teams.
Sure.
And yesterday the Warriors were better. The other Warriors and the other Celtics were better in the first game. The one guy that just is not going is Clay.
Yeah.
Clay wasn't very good.
No, he wasn't.
Again.
And he's had those moments in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And part of it's like, well, dude, the guy's been off for 2 years.
True.
It's tough. On the other hand, if Clay was on,
then that's a different team.
Oh,
right?
God. There were quite a few times last night. Like, I'm seeing him shoot, and I'm like, oh, that's cash.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in the NBA, it's a game of just inches.
Right.
You're off by just that. Timing's out. Like, remember when RoboCop had to recalibrate by shooting the baby food? I feel like Clay has to do that a little bit in the offseason. He'll be back. Warriors improved to 5-0 after a loss in these playoffs, as you mentioned. All 5 of those victories have come at home, with the average margin of victory 15.4 points. Also, with last night's victory, the Warriors avoided a 2-0 deficit in the NBA Finals. The Warriors have never trailed 2-0 in the finals under Steve Kerr.
Okay.
The Warriors have also never trailed 2-0 in a playoff series under Steve Kerr. That's insane.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Wow.
That's impressive.
Golden State has won Game 2 of the NBA Finals for a 5th consecutive time. Raised the record to 10-1 at home in the playoffs. Here's some other stats for you we roll out. 29 points, 5 threes for Steph in Game 2 after having 34 and 7 in Game 1. It's the third time he's recorded back-to-back games of at least 25 with 5 threes in the finals. The only other player to post at least 25 points and 5 threes in consecutive games in the NBA Finals. You guys want to take a guess? The only player in NBA history other than Steph Curry to post at least 25 with 5 threes in consecutive games in the finals. Only one other player has done that ever.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Is that correct?
Oh, I'm waiting for you. Kobe Bean Bryant. The only player other than Steph Curry to post at least 25 points and 5 threes in consecutive games in the NBA Finals is Klay Thompson.
Duh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty. Say what you want about.
It's almost like they're brothers.
Say what you want. Splash Brothers. Say what you want about Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson nailed it, and he got a ton of crap for it when he said that Klay Thompson and Steph Curry are going to be the best backcourt of all time.
Mama, there goes that man.
He said it.
Yeah.
And man, did the sports world tear him up. They're the best backcourt of all time. I mean, apologies to Dumars and Isaiah, and maybe I'm sure there's a couple others in there I'm forgetting. Magic and no.
Magic and Byron Scott.
Yeah, no, I'd stop that right there.
Magic and Norm Nixon.
Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson.
No.
No.
Bibby and Christie.
Okay, so they're at least the second best.
Macklemore and McCallum.
Ooh.
Ray Mac.
What? Jordan Poole made 5 threes.
That was needed for him. He was not playing well.
His shot was bad.
By the way, can we just, I know we've pointed this out, but can we just stop real quick and how weird it is that Jordan Poole is basically looking like the second coming of like a diet Steph Curry. And on top of that, they're the Splash Brothers and his last name is Poole. That's just so weird, dude. Like a pool party with the Splash Brothers. It's a marketing dream. 22 years old. He's the youngest player to make at least 5 threes in an NBA Finals game. The youngest. Younger than any of the other guys who... Wait, of course, if he's the youngest. And then finally, Golden State held Boston to a 2022 postseason low in points. How about that? I'll tell you what, when you want to talk about postseason lows, I'd like to see a season low when it comes to my thermostat. Hi, how you doing? Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy.
Well done.
Thank you. You want to keep that, you don't want to tear up the environment or anything, but you want to work smarter, not harder, when it comes to your air conditioner. And you know what? American Energy's got it going on. You can make sure that everything's working perfect by getting that $49 tune-up offer. Just go to AmericanEnergyAir.com to check it out. $49 air conditioning tune-up. And if you ask for it, they'll give you a free indoor air quality test. It's simple. It's hot. It's going to be 150 degrees this weekend. Approximation. Your results may vary. Make sure your AC runs efficiently and save money in the long run by taking care of that system. Jason, you feel free to leave that mic on if you're going to laugh. I mean, that was a laugh. I felt that. It's kind of a half laugh. Call it a day. Schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. $49 tune-up offer only for my friends at American Energy. 916-520-9990. Jay's going to lead us through a mock draft or a redraft from the 2010 year. This is something our guys downstairs did.
Via our Return of the Roar podcast with Frankie Cardicelli and Chris Watkins.
And apparently there's some controversy as to who the Sacramento Kings would pick. I'm here for this. We also have What's Hot, What's Not, and the news, also known as Not Friday Fun and Games. I know. It's coming up right after this.
Live and local.
Live and local.
Sports 1140 KHTK.
Men.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to text them right now.
916-339-1140.
Sports 1140.
KHTK.
Welcome back. I got to go to Apple Care today. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, this new MacBook I got like 6 months ago because my old one's literally like the down arrow key doesn't exist anymore. It's just been too long. It's been a wonderful. Hey, this new one. And, they're not cheap, by the way, them Apples. Screen won't come on. The keyboard lights up. The screen won't come on. I did this.
So you think it's a fix or getting a new one?
I hope it's a fix, man. I did the restart. Then it had me do like Command R or something to boot that. I don't know. All this I did. I went online. I did all these tricks.
Did you blow in the cartridge?
Thought about. I even like did the brightness. Just like, did I accidentally sit on it and drop the brightness? Nothing. So I hope. My only thing is like I'm going to take it in there, and of course it's going to take me 3 hours to get an appointment, 4 hours in line, an hour to drive there. Now we're up to 8 hours, Jason.
That's a busy day.
And of course I'm going to get up there, and the guy's going to be like, "Oh, thank you," and then he's going to go boop, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's on that screen.
What were you last watching?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember, and that's never ask questions you don't know the answer to, Jason. The 2010 NBA draft was held June 24th, 2010 in Madison Square Garden. I was Oh, gosh. I think it was.
I don't remember where I was for this.
I do know this. I still at my house, in my garage, I use it as a divider. I have the 2010 Sacramento Kings big canvas backdrop that they used for their draftees to do their interviews in front of. I still have it. It is massive and thick. And it's just like a random thing. Shut up, Jay.
Actually, I do know. I was at Arco.
I feel like I was too.
As was I.
Were you? Was
I
there
was.
a draft party there?
Yes.
Yeah. We did a radio show from there.
God, do we even know there's going to be a draft party this year?
Yes.
I'm not. There is?
Yes.
We know that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's breaking. We should play the breaking news sound. All right, so we've got a new guy who writes for us, right? Right? Got a new writer on the staff.
We do, but this isn't from them.
Well, I just wanted to point it out. If you go to KHTK.com.
KHT, what's the other letters?
Well, because I was going to say it because I was going to talk about Cage to Cage.
Go there too.
Our guy Chris Watkins did a nice interview, so you can get to know this kid's right out. I say,
Emil.
Hey, this kid is right out of Arizona State. Was at the Walter Cronkite School.
He was the smartest one in the class, so we got the smart one here at KHTK. Finally, we got someone smart.
So let me tell you something. He's going to write, do a lot of NFL with us, do a lot of writing for us. You'll be able to spruce up that KHTK.com and over under 12 months. You go to the Walter Cronkite School. I mean, come on,
like right into the athletics soon or something.
I was thinking honestly, probably heading over to like New York Times or Washington.
I would say 12 might be high. I'm going to set the over under as to how long this guy's with us at 10 and a half months, and I think we should actually place bets. Not because he's going to get fired or anything. I'm just saying, you go to the Walter Cronkite School. Well, you write for KHTK.com.
I'm going to say over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Jay.
I'll take the over.
You better take the over. You're in management.
I know.
Yeah.
As two people that have been here for an awfully long time.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But
how long are you at now?
Year 36.
Well, we're not counting the first time I interned here, right?
No, but as an employee.
Combine your two stints.
Well, I missed a year.
You had a sabbatical.
For my sabbatical. That'll be this year will be my 20th year.
Wow. How about that?
But remember, I came in, Kings clinched against the Nuggets.
Yes. When
I came in with you and Steve Buzzard. And I want to say that was 2000 or 2001.
Wait, no, we're talking, wasn't it the first time?
Oh, it might have been. You're
95.
99.
Or
99.
No, I thought, are we talking, you're not talking about the St. Jean team?
Am I? Is that when I came in when we clinched? The Kings clinched against the Nuggets. I remember that. Was that early? I do know this. I know.
Or was it?
I know the first time I interned here.
No, it would have been. That was
right.
in Madison.
I think so.
Yeah.
I got dropped off by my dad because I didn't have my driver's license yet. That's how far back that goes. All right, enough of that. As I stroke the gray in my beard. They redid the 2010 draft.
First 10 picks.
They mocked it up.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read what the original pick and team was and then what Frankie and Chris went with. And I want to see what you guys think.
Okay.
So the first pick in the 2010 NBA draft belonged to the Washington Wizards, and they selected John Wall.
John Wall.
Frankie and Chris, however, have selected with the number one pick.
There's only one choice here.
Paul George.
That's the choice.
Out of Fresno.
Yeah. Fresno State.
Same thing.
Okay, I agree with them so far.
Jason?
Yeah, good with that.
All right. Moving on to numero dos. The Philadelphia 76ers in the 2010 draft selected Evan Turner. However.
Oh, God. Oh, that's right. Okay, I thought you were saying that's who they would.
No, that's who was selected. They have placed there John Wall.
Yeah.
All right. The third pick in the 2010 NBA draft belonged to the New Jersey Nets, who selected Derek Favors.
Yes, I remember
the
that.
Return of the Roar podcast has not Derek Favors going 3. They have Gordon Hayward as the third pick.
Yeah, I like it. What do you got instead?
Well, I've got who I'm sure they have going fourth to the Minnesota Timberwolves as my third pick.
Going fourth to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2010 draft was Wesley Johnson.
Yeah.
Frankie and Chris, Return of the Roar podcast, have DeMarcus Cousins at the number 4 pick.
I mean, it's tough, but don't you got to put Cousins ahead of Hayward?
Why?
Is he a better player?
I don't know that. I mean, I think that's
a fair question.
Yeah,
it's a very fair.
It
question.
might be that one. Might be need. I mean, career success, Mark.
I mean, I will say this: Gordon Hayward.
Both have been all-stars.
Gordon Hayward probably less drama
for sure.
I mean, you have to. I guess you kind of have to compare that and allow for that as well. But then again, Gordon Hayward has been able to play on some, pretty good teams. I
think I would go Hayward. But, man, the tough one is, well, they both had brutal injuries. You just wonder how it would have been different for both. But I think DeMarcus's was the one that hurt his career more than Hayward's did.
Well, I mean, Hayward definitely. What was when he was wasn't his first year with the Celtics? He played 6 minutes.
Game in his
yeah.
He was pointing the wrong way.
Yeah, that was Oogie. I guess we can go full career here, and then we'll move on here real quick. But I think it's a valid question. I'm curious as to how close or on or off the results are here. Okay. Well, I'm going full career, which isn't probably most fair to Gordon Hayward because career he averages 15.6 points a game. But, there were some growing pains there. DeMarcus Cousins averages 4 more points per game. He averages 0.7 more blocks a game, 1.1 to 0.4. He averages 0.3 of a steal more a game. He averages 1/5 of an assist less, 3.5 to 3. He averages 6 more boards. Hayward shoots 9% better from the line, 4% better from behind the arc. DeMarcus has him by 1%. I think defensively it's most likely a wash, while DeMarcus actually is a better defender metrically. I don't know, but when you're talking that and intangibles.
Yeah. Jay, you break the tie. Dave has Cousins 3, I have him 4.
Okay.
And Hayward 3. What do you think?
You shouldn't have told him who has him.
I would have taken DeMarcus over Gordon Hayward.
Oh, see?
Wow, he must really believe in that then.
Yeah.
He would 100% want to take your guy.
He took yours.
Gordon Hayward. By the way, you ever
Hayward.
You ever look at pictures of Gordon Hayward and Butler compared to now?
Yeah.
Like, talk about what money does for you. Completely different looking human being.
Yeah.
He's meow. You know what I'm saying?
I did
got a haircut.
Number 5.
The Sacramento Kings, who in 2010, as we all know, drafted DeMarcus Cousins, who's been already selected in our redo.
Can I guess? Okay,
sure.
Could Jason and I both guess here?
Absolutely. Stop covering your mouth.
I love that we're redoing the 2010 NBA draft. Normally, that would be terrible radio. But in this case, it's not. Dude, honestly, oh, God. Hey, Nemanja Bjelica is in this draft.
Yeah.
There's a couple of...
We only got like 3 minutes left in the segment. You're going to need to make a pick.
Yeah, I don't want to... Okay, I'm going there's 2 I'm looking at. I'm going to go with Eric Bledsoe.
Okay.
Jason?
That was one I'm looking at just to be different than I will take Lance Stevenson.
That's one of the others, too. I think there's 3 possibilities.
With the number 5 pick, the Kings in the Return of the Roar redraft have selected Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah. How high did the only other one I was looking at? I'm curious. Did they go beyond that?
Yeah,
okay.
We have 6 through 10.
Okay, where did who'd you take? It was
I just threw in Lance
Stevenson. Where did Stevenson go? Where did Whiteside go?
Okay, how about I just run through the rest of the draft?
Please do.
So at number 6, the Warriors selected in 2010 Ekpe Udo.
Yes. The
Return of the Roar podcast at number 6 has Hassan Whiteside going to the Golden State Warriors.
Wow. Yeah.
At number 7, Greg Monroe was the pick by the Detroit Pistons in 2010.
By the way,
at the time, great pick.
Looked pretty much like a steal there for the first few years.
Number 7 in the Return of the Roar redraft of 2010, Derek Favors goes 7 to the Pistons.
Interesting.
All right, moving on to number 8. The LA Clippers in 2010 selected Al-Farouq Aminu. The Return of the Roar redraft has Lance Stevenson going at 8 to the Clippers.
Okay.
Number 9, the Jazz of Utah selected Gordon Hayward, who was the number 3 pick in the redraft by Return of the Roar. So going at number 9 to the Jazz, Evan Turner. And finally at number 10, it gets very thin after this, especially after 10. The Pacers, obviously Paul George fell to them in the 2010 draft. In the Return of the Roar redraft of 2010, number 10, Greg Monroe.
I thought it might be Avery Bradley.
I was going to say, I think they missed on Avery Bradley.
I
think you're right.
Gravis Vasquez?
James Anderson, Kings legend, went number 20 to the Spurs.
Oh, never Navis Gravis.
Luke Babbitt. Larry Sanders.
Great show.
Ed Davis, the internet's favorite free agent.
I think they're a little underestimation of Avery Bradley's career. You're talking about a guy, his numbers don't pop out at you. I mean, 2016-17, he had 16.6 boards. Avery Bradley's a heck of a defender. I'll tell you this much. I'd take a 26, 27-year-old Avery Bradley on this team right now.
For sure.
Right now. Sign me up. Why am I talking like this? Right now. Give me Avery Bradley. All right, well, good for them. Go to cage2k.com and find that. I think it's my turn in the Cage to Cage, by the way, soon at some point. What's not? What's hot? Yeah, I said it right. And the news. We wrap up the program coming up after this.
Cage. What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Air and Solar, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
Who's hot? Blue Jays outfielder and leadoff hitter George Springer.
Yeah, he is.
Yesterday hit his 50th lead-off home run, placing him 4th all-time behind Craig Biggio, who hit 53.
Yep.
Alfonso Soriano, who hit 54.
I know number one.
Who?
Ricky.
How many hit?
89.
Close, 81.
Why did I get to guess?
George Springer eventually catches him, right? On the
How
home
many
run list.
Springer have?
50.
No,
you don't think he'll
Gotta
hit
hit
32
30-something.
more leadoff home runs through his career?
Oh,
Nope.
heck no, dude.
Ricky had tenure. I have 10 yard, 15.
It never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
Who's not?
Who isn't?
Who?
Clippers head coach Ty Lue.
Why is he
Oh, it's a tough day for Ty Lue.
Tough day for Ty Lue. Today marks the 21st anniversary of a young man by the name of Allen Iverson stepping over a little Tyronn Lue in Game 2. Or is that Game 1 of the NBA Finals? 2001.
Game 1. Everyone knows that.
I forgot, because I was looking at that picture this morning. I forgot J.R. Ryder was on that Lakers team.
Junior Ryder.
He was Isaiah then.
He was.
No, I think he went back to J.R., hadn't he?
Or was he easy?
You know what he was after that?
Contract.
Out of the league.
Winona.
On the Storm. Okay. News, please.
Red.
Damn it. BB gun. Oh, no, that's what you did.
That's where I went.
Oh, that's right. Samson Ryder. That sounds like a briefcase, by the way, but yeah. News, please.
Samsonite Ryder.
Stand by on this frequency.
It's time for the news of the day.
Thank you for ruining the show and dropping a steamer on my journalistic integrity.
Today's important headlines, intelligent analysis, hard-hitting interviews.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
Here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Oh my God, I love those guys.
Hey, remember when Jordan Poole hit that shot? At the end of the, yeah, this was it sounded like on ESPN Deportes.
Segundos finales. A ver, Jordan Poole con un curve.
¿En serio, Jordan Poole? ¿En serio? Desde Saturno levantando las manos.
Yeah.
El flechazo de Leo las que acaba de tirar.
He made it?
No, he missed.
Oh.
And that call was so great. I mean, listen, our guy Mark Jones and everybody, fantastic job, but I just default to the Spanish call. It's just
great.
It's just so much better, usually, many times. What else do I have for you on that? Oh, let's see. We did. Oh, yes, sad news. Sad news. Ann Turner Cook died. Ann Turner Cook is 90.
Okay.
Ann Turner Cook was 90. Ann Turner Cook was the original Gerber baby.
Aww.
The original Gerber baby face that's on all the baby foods.
Yeah.
Ann Turner Cook.
That's a girl?
I guess that's a fair question. Yeah, it's a girl.
Interesting.
Yeah. 90 years
I
old.
was a little boy.
Well, now you know, it's Ann Turner Cook. She's 90. She was. Passed away.
Do you think your parents took all her money from her Gerber profits? Like, are we going to get an Ann Kerner Cook E! True Hollywood story?
Ann Kerner Took?
Ann Kerner Took
her money.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that TNT one where it's like rich and scandalous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Never know how that works. Like, what? If your kid makes money, like I saw this one YouTube kid, she's like 11 or something, and she reviews toys and made like 11 million last year.
I like that exploitation is something we're gonna like. You're gonna see so many documentaries about the exploited YouTube kids in like 10 years.
Yeah,
Telling you it's bad.
I hear you. Also, $11 million a year.
But my point is,
I'd
like,
exploit one of my kids for $11 million, probably. I mean, as long.
That's okay, Dad.
Depends on.
That's
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
but my point is, how much of this millions are you putting aside for the kids?
That's what I've actually talked to Melissa about that. She says you put it all. I'm like,
no, you take a profit. You're the one.
Hell no,
dude. Your transportation, your time is valuable.
You know what I would do? Honestly, this is what I landed on. I would ask around in the talent world, and I would find out what an agent gets, what a regular 4% or whatever. That's what we'd.
You'll take 8.
No, we take the 4. Yeah, we take that and put the rest of it in some secure whatever.
You give them the 4%.
Until like a new potato rotator comes up on Amazon.
Well, that's the thing. They get all this for free because they review it. That's what I need. I need a dad channel Raised review crap like the Rotato Express.
Yeah.
Kick down, Amazon.
Rotato.
Today is National A Bunch of Stuff Day. Let's see. National, where are we at? National Russian Language Day. Nope. World Pest Day. Oh, today's D-Day? I didn't. Let me make sure. Hold on. Is today D-Day for? Yeah, today, June 6th. Shame on us. Today is D-Day. Refers to the landing. That one wins automatically. Sorry. The landing of the Allied forces on the beaches of Normandy, France. Troops staged one of the most pivotal attacks against Germany during World War II. Now, obviously, that was a terrible day,
right?
But also the beginning of the final push and a vital turn in the war. Thoughts with all those making the ultimate sacrifice for our country. National Eyewear Day. Not National You Wear Day, Jason. National
Eyewear.
I think it's for like glasses.
Okay.
You know. Higher Education Day. Oh, that's privileged. National Applesauce Cake Day.
Wait,
I've never had
what?
that.
I haven't either, but you know.
Sounds runny.
That sounds like garbage.
I'll bet you it's moist. You ever had a pudding cake? It's not what it sounds like. It's
gooey.
Just a cake with the dry pudding mix in it.
You ever had tres leches cake?
Yeah, 3 milks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you, Spanish speaker.
Butter, naan, and fat milk.
I forgot to tell you guys this.
Oh,
one of the quotes I used to get played all the time on the old night show was me yelling about how my cookies are always crunchy. What I meant by that was my cookies, whenever I would make cookies in my whole life, they were always crunchy. And I don't like crunchy. I like chewy cookies. I have discovered, well, somebody else discovered, but I have learned the secret over the weekend.
I buy Chips Ahoy chewy cookies.
Oh, you remember the homemade. Remember I got the mixer, right? I've been using a lot of it. So I use a stand mixer, and I made not one but 2 sets of cookies: chocolate chip and peanut butter chip peanut butter cookies. Like peanut butter cookies with peanut butter.
Yeah.
Anyways, instead of using you blend up the butter with the brown sugar and all that. Butter flavored shortening instead of butter. Oh my goodness, those cookies are they're so soft.
How much time do you spend on average researching this stuff?
10 hours.
Dude, let me tell you something. When you're smoking, that's all there is to do is smoke, and I have to do things. So I read. I read about a ton of stuff. I watched a guy by the name of Rick Beato break down the best parts of what the hell was the song. It's a series he does called What Makes This Song Great. Oh, it was Megadeth's Symphony of Destruction. Let me tell you, I recommend it if you're a music guy. National Drive-In Movie Day.
I love the drive-ins.
When was the last time you went, though?
Pandemic.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Yeah, about me too. I love the drive-in.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
But I went as a kid, then hadn't gone forever, but I've gone a decent amount in the last 10 years.
As a kid, you really couldn't beat the drive-in double feature.
Feature.
Just what you couldn't beat it. I get to go see 2 movies and I get to sit in the car.
Didn't they used to run both movies and then run the first movie back again the third time? Is that what they did?
I don't remember that.
I think they did. Somebody out there, 916-339-1140. I swear to God, Sacramento Drive-In used to do that. Remember they used to have 49er Drive-In? I never went there.
I did not.
Yeah, that was probably before.
We've always went to the ones over off Bradshaw.
I love the drive-ins. And I just found out this, by the way, there's a special kind of chair apparently now. I think they have at 2 different theaters in Sacramento. I forget what the name of the chair is called, but you can look it up. You sit in it at the movie theater, and it's got vibrations and different winds. It's almost it's like one of those oh, you can feel the stuff going on.
It's like a ride.
Yeah, I kind of want to try that.
I'm sure you do.
It's also National Yo-Yo Day. Yo.
When was the last time you guys played with a yo-yo?
I think anytime you see one, don't you always grab it and you try to hey, do I remember how to do this?
Did you guys, maybe this is just my generation, but I remember very vividly in elementary school, every year a rep from Duncan Yo-Yo would come and show us all the new yo-yos and we could place an order. Yeah.
Did you walk the dog?
Yes.
Where'd you grow up, Indiana?
No, South Sac.
Indiana, the yo-yo capital of the world.
It's not like something you get in 1950s Indiana. The Duncan Yo-Yo guy comes in. Hey, kids.
I
got the new one for the summer.
I just remember it was a guy that thought he was cool, but clearly wasn't cool because every time he would do a trick, he'd be like, guys, wasn't that so fresh? I'm like, dude, that was like 10 years ago.
Oh.
This is back when we were saying something was tight when it was cool. He was still saying fresh.
That was fresh. And then he went out on the basketball court and somebody blocked a shot. He's like, you got packed.
Yep.
I enjoy yo-yos. All I can do with
literally or figuratively.
No, like all I can do with a yo-yo is like I can do the thing where it goes down and comes up into your hand.
Yeah, you can yo.
I can yo.
Yeah.
But here's what I can't do. That stuff on YouTube, dude.
Oh, the tricks,
like, they make the triangle and it's going through the thing and it goes around the. Oh,
it's not just they do it so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's just like it's like when people like blind solve a Rubik's Cube in 12 seconds or something. Like, who are you?
Right.
I saw something on Twitter the other day. This guy had a special thing where he had 5 pens.
That's the most amazing
Did you see that?
thing.
He drew
Made
5 different faces.
Yeah, right.
Who are the remember in what was it? Not Independence Day. Men in Black. Okay, and they were saying that like some people are aliens.
Yeah.
That's not humanly possible to do that. I mean, that is just otherworldly talent. Jason, I know you have wife and child family here, as do I, but have you ever considered or would you consider relocating to the United Kingdom?
Why?
Well, let me tell you. Well, that was just like I had nothing behind it. Just like, Jay, you want to move to UK? No problem. Because today, thousands of UK workers are starting a 4-day work week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with no cut in their pay. It's the largest trial of its kind. Hold on. Hey, I'm on the radio right now. Everything okay? Oh, I'll call you back.
No, put the phone to the microphone.
Okay, bye. No.
Was it Brian?
No, somebody who should know I'm on the radio.
Definitely Brian.
This pilot, which will last for 6 months, involves 3,300 workers spanning 70 companies, ranging from providers of financial services to, shockingly, fish and chip restaurants. I think that's like literally the only. I think you know what I heard's really popular in England? Indian restaurants.
Really?
Indian food in England apparently is ridiculously like and I don't know if this is right or not, but this person told me who'd spent time over there that Indian restaurants are to England what Chinese restaurants are to America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was incredible. And I love Indian food.
So is the Indian food over there like completely, made for English people the way Chinese food over here is completely made for Americans?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Hey, spoiler alert, the Chinese food you eat in the United States is not what they have in China.
I will back that up. Went to China with the Kings in 2013.
You were looking for lemon chicken,
let me
couldn't
tell you
find
something.
it.
They have no idea how to make Chinese food in China.
Yeah.
At all.
Right.
Oh, it was terrible.
Hey, this isn't Panda Express.
I lost 13 pounds on that trip. That's not a joke. I was scared of everything.
What do you mean you don't have honey walnut shrimp?
I didn't know you could cook chicken medium, and I saw it. Yes, exactly. No, I saw it, and they like do some weird thing where they boil it or whatever, and the skin. I mean, listen, I'm tolerant of all cultures, and I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just saying, for me personally, I can't eat floppy skin chicken. I can't do it. Now, I'm sure they come over here and they see the Chinese food we have, and they're like, "That's a joke, dude." But man, I didn't try everything in China, but I saw a lot of stuff.
That's a misfortune cookie.
Just not. That's just a culture thing. I mean, my goodness. I was at a pho restaurant the other day, Vietnamese, the soup, whatever, and one of them had like tendon. It said tendon. I was like, tendon might be amazing. I don't want tendon. But then again, they're probably like, whatever, dude. You eat hot dogs.
What about 2010?
That's lips and other parts. For Jason, I'm Dave. Jim Rome is next. No better way to leave you than with hot dogs. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.
Nobody protects you from mayhem